The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
Ah!
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers,
You pig!
damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport!
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this March Madness has begun Thursday, March 21st, 2024. This sports program starts, and now sports are happening today in a massive way. One of the biggest events of the year tips off in just 14 minutes as the Michigan State Spartans will take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs as March Madness will officially begin. Two more teams punched their tickets last night, and now the second most bet on event of the year will take place. You know who will not be betting on it?
Who's that?
Shohei Ohtani or Shohei's interpreter,
Ife
Mizuhara.
Yeah.
Mizuhara.
We are sorry for the mispronunciation. Japanese interpreter. We don't speak Japanese, which is why it is difficult for us to potentially say said buddy's name.
Correct.
But there's a lot coming out about a $4.5 million debt that was owed to a bookie who was gambling offshore with the FBI that was investigating. Money came from Shohei Ohtani's bank account, but it wasn't from him. It was his interpreter, who's also his best friend, his confidant, his mentor. His tag team partner as they take on the United States, the MLB, and the sports globally.
Hell yeah.
Shohei helped him out at first, allegedly, via the story. Then they said, that's not how that went. You stole $4.5 million from this guy. Within a 90-minute interview, everything changed in the story that was released yesterday, and everybody on earth is saying, something seems fishy here. Yeah, somebody sucks at gambling so bad that they lost $4.5 million, and Shohei Ohtani's bank account was involved. Was it the interpreter? Was it Shohei? We'll have Jet Passan, who's been making the rounds this morning, explain a little bit more to us in about 14 to 15 minutes or so. Yes, the March Madness will be tipping off, and we'll be watching it on this TV right here. So whenever you're watching us have our conversations with whoever we're talking to today, know that we might be a little bit distracted if something big happens, if a massive upset takes place. Like what if Duquesne, who tips off at 12:40, somehow upsets the BYU squad. BYU favored by 9.5. But the Duquesne squad, I don't know if you know this, they just got a brand new shipment of Braun's shoes.
Boom.
Right to the hotel because Braun's high school coach at St.
Mary's.
Okay, is now the coach at Duquesne, has been for 7 years. We do not know if LeBron knows that it's been 7 years, but nonetheless, Duquesne is in the dance. They got some fresh Braun shoes as a gift and a shout out, and now they take on a BYU team in which they're favored by 9.5. Akron and Creighton will tip off. Creighton's favored by 12.5.
Jeez.
Pretty big spread. And then 19.5 point favorites. Arizona will take on Long Beach State, all during our show. So we'll keep everybody updated on what's happening in the games and following alongside of you. We have entered our show's bracket in an attempt to make $1 billion, half of which we will give away immediately upon winning. The other half we will certainly save for the good times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, there was a lot of contemplation about who the hell is going to be doing what with, the games and the picks. It was highly contested over here whenever we were picking some of the games. Who ended up winning our bracket?
We ended up with Auburn and the Bruce Pearl boys winning.
Yeah, and nobody else in the office really knew that was going to take place except for Connor, who was the one that was filling it out. But there was a lot of voting. There was a lot of yelling. We think we did it.
Yes.
We put out the perfect bracket. We're pumped about it. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. How many brackets have you filled out this year?
I have actually only filled out 2 brackets, one women's, one men's. That was the only bracket that I filled out as a group team.
There might have been another one that you filled out today for bracket challenge that I was invited to.
Oh, that's right. So 3 because yours as well.
Yeah.
You guys had UConn, I believe.
I have UConn winning because I like Hurley's moxie.
Of course.
And I like how tense he is. But I'll tell you what, that Nebraska Cornhuskers team, they're going on a deep run. They are going. Keisei Tominaga isn't missing a shot the entire tournament. That's going to be the story of the madness of March, is how this Japanese Steph Curry missed 0 shots through an entire tournament. Can't wait to watch. If he hits his first one, it's not just hot for the game. It's hot for the entirety of the tournament. Right. He tips off tomorrow, 6:20. We will be watching the Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on Texas A&M. Cannot wait to see who steals the show, who steals the weekend. We will certainly have to chat about it. Now, the Shohei news is going to be tough to overshadow. At Ty Schmidt, our baseball guy. Now, Tone Diggs, also a baseball fan, one half of the Hammer.
Dahn.
Cowboys, his Duquesne Dukes are taking on a tough BYU squad today. Good luck to him.
Thank you.
But baseball is continuing to prove, and Connor mentioned it earlier, our show, not the biggest baseball show.
Sure.
No shows that have ratings are big baseball shows. Because baseball is not a rating show. Now, there are people that love baseball, though. Diehards about baseball. Yeah, we got 6 hours, nothing to do. Let's go watch people fail at a 70% failure clip, and let's just keep it moving. Let's see a 0-0-1, a pitcher's duel. Let's do. There's people that love baseball. I get it. I appreciate those people. But the best thing about baseball is all the shit that happens around baseball. Now, obviously, the games can be electrifying. There's a 15-11 game this morning in Korea between the Dodgers and the Padres. Dodgers player Shohei Ohtani, in the middle of one of the biggest controversies that baseball has seen in a long time, just broke yesterday. Today, he's still hitting balls off the wall. We're talking about being locked in. And something that is involving this much of a failure, if you're off this much, he has somehow been able to keep $4.5 million potentially being stolen from him or lent from him to his interpreter, who is a terrible gambler. Absolutely terrible gambler.
Bad.
If the story shapes out to be whatever it is. Just whatever, he's still bombing balls. He is still incredible at baseball. That's his sanctuary. But this is a big deal. And a lot of people are mentioning Pete Rose. Don't know if it's similar, right? I don't know if it's same.
I don't get that that vibe just from everything. And again, this news basically came, I mean, yesterday people were talking about it, and then the story actually came out today, so it's still very fresh. I don't think all the information has been presented yet. But no, it doesn't feel like Shohei was betting on baseball explicitly, so I don't think it's a Pete Rose situation. But it is very interesting how basically every story that's been presented so far has either been refuted or like mixed around, or right after the story came out, I was like, well, that's actually not what happened. The complete opposite thing happened. So there's just like a bunch of different narratives going around right now. There's half the people who are immediately on the internet were like, okay, so Shohei was gambling, his interpreter is the fall guy. Obviously that's the case. And then other people are, you mentioned his confidant, his friend. He needs this guy to be able to function in the United States as his interpreter. He was just being a good pal, paying off a debt of his. But I don't know. I mean, the investigation, obviously, I think is very serious. But the MLB has basically already said, like, hey, as of right now, like, Shohei's in the clear. Like, there's not going to be some massive, at least as of right now, there's not going to be some massive suspension. He's not, a lot of people were putting out the piece in his contract where it was like, hey, if his interpreter was to be let go or something like that, like, he can opt out at the end of the year. Like, people assuming that he's potentially not going to be a Dodger anymore because of this. Like, I think all of that's bullshit, but I think there is just so much conjecture and other stuff going around with this that we really don't know the full scope of what's going on. So hopefully Jet has a little more information.
Yeah, and Ippei Mitsuhara, who is the interpreter,
nailed it.
He allegedly addressed the entire team after the game yesterday and kind of spoke up about it.
Yeah.
Did Shohei have no idea the story was coming out? Was he the only one that knew the story was coming out? Because then there's videos of Shohei and the interpreter in the dugout yesterday morning as we watched on 6 a.m. start here on the East Coast for the Korean game. They're laughing pals.
Yeah, chumming it up.
Yeah, you're right.
What'd you take today?
It's great to be here. Yeah, so they're showing this video, and then afterwards, Ipe allegedly addressed the entire team, and then the story comes out, and then all of a sudden, no, this guy stole $4.5 million from Shea. None of it really makes sense how it all pans out. Now, $4.5 million is a lot of money. That's grand theft.
Yeah.
That is obviously a huge amount of cash. But for Shohei Ohtani, $4.5 million could potentially go missing from a bank account.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
It's not like Shohei. If Shohei is not like plugged in every day, checking his balances, checking his numbers, $4.5 million, and I assume they've already done the math, what it is for somebody who makes $65,000 a year, $75,000 a year, there's a chance that he did not know until very recently about all this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Jet better give us answers. The Jet better give us some damn answers, because I got a lot of them. And if they don't have any answers, boy, this story is only going to continue to cook because we don't know anything about anything, seemingly.
Yeah, I mean, you would assume that he didn't find, because if everything that we've been presented so far is true, like, it would be really weird that they were just yucking it up when this guy allegedly stole $4.5 million from you. And again, I understand that he just signed a $700 million contract, so $4.5 million maybe isn't like the end-all be-all to him, but I think that's still obviously a massive breach of trust. But on the Dodgers side, like, I think that's why I think they kind of feel like they were just like, like this blasted them out of nowhere, because initially I assumed like, oh, okay, well, this has been going on for a while. They say since like 2019, since they got to the U.S., these bets had been placed. So I assumed that like the Dodgers maybe knew of this in some way, shape, or form, but that doesn't seem to be the case either, because their manager, Dave Roberts, has basically said like, hey, I'm not commenting on this at all. Like, I don't, I have nothing to say. I'm going to let the investigation play out. But it is just, it's really interesting how Ipe basically came and said like, hey, he paid off my debts for me and we're all good. And then apparently someone got in his ear or something happened, and he basically said like, that's actually not the way it played out. He had no idea. He wasn't the one who actually wired the money himself, which is what he initially said. Like, it's really weird, and it's going to get fishy.
We'll talk to Jet about that here in a matter of moments. Other sports have things going on right now. NBA guys are trying to block the shots of their teammates.
Pretty sweet.
I don't know if you saw this. James Harden's awesome. James Harden and the Clippers, allegedly pretty good squad now and cooking. James Harden kicks out to Kawhi. Pressure in his face from Harden. Kawhi misses. Harden gets a rebound. Harden then gets the rebound immediately afterwards. Went for an assist, a block, and ended up with a board all in one play. That's James Harden basketball. That really is. I do appreciate the fact that James Harden and these guys seemingly playing good basketball, from what we've been told.
Nasty.
Very much a threat in the West. I like that they're so relaxed. They're just dicking around.
Oh, yeah.
Good. What?
Shut up. Gotcha.
What if Kawhi makes that in his eye and celebrates?
Yeah, he should.
And
that
then
would be awesome.
they run it all the way back. Do we think maybe there was a lapse of him forgetting what team he's on? Do we think he's just hilarious? And is that how comfortable James Harden is now as a member of the Clippers there? Because for a bit it was not working.
No.
Now it seems like they're at a point where they're having a blast on the court.
Yeah, James Harden loves dicking around when he's playing basketball, and it's kind of why he is so awesome. Like, I don't know if you remember, I think when he was with Houston, when he would dunk.
Your hair looks
Top notch.
Good. Is it good?
It's.
I'm
going for madness.
Oh.
Yeah, March
I
Madness
think you nailed
kicks
it.
off.
I think you nailed it.
It is chaos.
I figure, I was trying to get kind of like the Back to the Future doctor.
Oh yeah.
Whatever that guy's name is, that guy.
Dr.
was
Braun.
Braun. There it is. That's what I was going for.
Braun.
Not LeBron.
No, Braun.
Oh, Braun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Braun is who I was going for March Madness.
Yeah, Cal Calipari would pronounce it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was. That's what I was trying to get. Yeah,
I think you beat him.
I mean, well, mine's a little longer. I'm also a little younger. I could have done the dye, which would have been a nice touch, but
For one day.
Yeah, a little too much.
A little aggressive, but
Too
I
much
think you
of
look good. But James Harden, yeah.
yeah, a freak of nature. But when he comes down from when he was with Houston, when he would dunk, he would act like he had a bloody nose, or he would act like he was hurt. Like, that kind of is his thing, just to dick around. But it is a very good depiction of how good the Clippers are. Like, they're playing the Trailblazers. They're up by 21 points, and James Harden's trying to block Kawhi Leonard.
What if he gets a swat right there? Does he?
Yeah.
Right in the face of Kawhi?
Immediately talking shit to him.
And it's somebody else. It's the other team's ball. I don't care. Jogging back. I got one block on Kawhi.
Count that.
Imagine if he actually
He's close.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good.
Away.
He's feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, I think they're pretty comfortable. I feel like they're pretty.
When they're healthy, they're very good.
Okay, so we like the Clippers potentially go on a run because they're moving into a new arena that has more toilets than any other arena in the entire NBA. I would like the Clippers to be good because I want to see Ballmer's ass on TV more.
Yeah, the West from 1 to 10 is the play-in games when you're going to have LeBron and Curry in there, and then we talked about Luka and then Durant also in the 7-8, and then you have the guys at the top with the what's called Nuggets who have won. Just 1 and 1 and 1, and then you got the Clippers with everybody. Yeah, the West.
Hey, let's not forget the Mavs and Zion Williamson.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards.
And Edwards.
I mean, there's a
Chet
lot going on.
Holmgren.
Holy, Adam Silver's going to want the other
Thunder.
side, right?
Thunder
At some
is the-
point, too.
Yeah, it's just the Celtics in the East, pretty much.
So
The East is all right. It's like Giannis needs to come back, and
Yeah.
Embiid needs to come back. Like most of their biggest stars, aside from Jason Tatum, of course, are hurt. So once they come back, then it'll be an entire. It'll be a little bit more even.
did you forget about the Celtics there as we were talking about basketball?
Did I forget about the Celtics? No, I'm trying to push the Celtics as much as possible. But if I do that, being a masshole, then I just sound like Perkins kind of mentioned how Celtics fans and Boston fans in general.
Miscommunication with Big Perk, by the way. Thought for sure he was going to be here today.
Yeah.
I thought that is exactly what we talked about. Big Perk thought we're starting next week. Classic miscommunication.
Yep.
Big Perk will be in here. I'm officially part of. I'll be in the building every Thursday. Carry the hell on. That was on Tuesday.
Yep.
So Thursday does come after Tuesday.
Usually.
So we thought there was a chance that it was this particular Thursday today, more so, but it will be next.
Okay.
It'll be next Thursday. It'll
Good
start.
to know.
Shout out to Big Perk.
Atta baby.
Also happening today on this particular program, there will be a game. Okay.
Whoa.
That people will talk about happening on this basketball court right here in the Thunderdome, in the great state of Indiana. The NCAA will have a representative playing one-on-one against the NITs, Indiana State Sycamores, Robbie Avila.
Wow.
So Larry Nerd,
Yep.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Robbie Avila will be taking on the NCAA, the ones that said they weren't good enough to get into March Madness, the ones that said keep your rec specs in the inferior tournament, the ones that said, is Larry Bird on Indiana State? No. Do we want Indiana State in our tournament? No. The ones who said Virginia should be in over these Sycamores. The ones who broke the record for the highest net ranked basketball team to not make it into the tournament in the history of the tournament and said Indiana State, yeah, everybody's saying you're a team that in any other year would get into the tournament. Not this year though. You know why? We don't want you.
Come on.
So at about 1 o'clock, 1:05 Eastern, the NCAA will be taking on Larry Nerd.
Let's go.
One-on-one, right here. Then we'll have a post-game interview, I do believe, with the winner
Nice. Okay.
of said one-on-one matchup. Could be talking to the NCAA later. Could be talking to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
Now,
Interesting.
I don't know who's going to be representing for the NCAA because obviously that's on their end.
Sure.
March Madness is going to have to send their absolute best. He's 6'10".
Yep.
So I think it could be a tough task, a tall task, if you will, for anybody that comes in here. And we're hoping Indiana State beats the NCAA.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Because we would like to spotlight this big, handsome,
What?
no-look passing,
What?
kick some assing,
What?
electrifying basketball player that was told you're not good enough, even though you've earned it to be in March Madness.
Just an absolute joke. I mean, we just found out about Keisei Tominaga. This has been our crown prince all season long. I mean, I didn't watch one college basketball game, but I still knew about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And for them to leave him out, I mean, what is this, the biggest miss the NCAA has ever had?
No, well, the NCAA's done a lot of things.
Very distinguished.
And that's who, that's who Robbie Avila has a chance to kind of punish for all of their wrongs.
Stick it to him.
Yeah, everything the NCAA has ever done, not just this omitting of Indiana State into March Madness, but how about whenever they're suspending a guy in the middle of his prime for a year because he had a cheeseburger he wasn't allowed to eat?
Yeah.
Bingo.
The Tez situation.
But I got to move back closer to my family who's going through it a little bit. No, you're not allowed to play even though you didn't play at another school because COVID canceled the entire season. Yeah, you're not allowed to play. To hell with you. Tez Walker. Yeah, that's who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is playing against today, and I hope he punishes the NCAA.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a.
I hope he punishes. Yeah, I'm hoping we're.
Oh yeah,
elbows
I want some
galore.
Yeah, I want right to the nose.
Yep.
I mean, the NCAA is going to bring out their best player though, so we got to.
Could be a good game. Could be a good game.
I hope not.
It could be. It could be.
We're solely in the camp of whoever is taking on the NCAA though, Gumps. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it could be close. It could be a good game. You never know.
You think NCAA has a chance maybe here against?
Could be a dog that shows up.
Well, that's the problem. That's how NCAA has been looking at this. You have the NCAA representative has no chance. Okay, no chance at all, and that needs to be remembered.
I mean, no one in the tournament had a chance.
5-0 Michigan State is up over Mississippi State as March Madness has officially begun in an empty arena because Michigan State couldn't sell a ticket if they had to.
Nope.
Where's this game at here?
Good question.
It's the West region, so.
Yeah, but the Charlotte. Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course.
Yep. South region's in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
West region's in Charlotte.
The East Coast.
In Charlotte. Yeah, that means I think UNC is the number 1 seed of the West bracket. Ooh. So that is why it is in Charlotte, because UNC is the closest. So I think they take the 1 seed. Yep, there it is. So I tried to learn a little bit more about this because as soon as I saw they were playing in Charlotte in the West and then in Pittsburgh for the South, I was like, what's the deal?
That's dumb.
It's all because they're trying to get it close to the number 1 seed, whatever it is.
Yep.
They have games in Washington as well for that West seed.
Spokane, I believe. Yeah, I think after this, once they go to Sweet 16, I think the games are actually a bit more where they're supposed to be.
Representative.
Yes.
Representative. Who's the guy with the mask on your team, Foxy? We got a full Rip Hamilton mask.
Ooh, I'd have to see it. I don't know. What number is he?
Big white, 15.
Oh, that's probably Kohler, if I had to guess.
What, you guys nose busted?
Yeah, something like that.
Kohler, like Tiger?
He's got tights on. He's got a Batman mask. The guy's swagged out.
Yeah, one of our guys came from that academy in Florida. Whatever that was.
IMG.
Yes. So they're not very good. I'll just be honest with you guys. They're not very good. Our big guys stink.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Handicapping the team already is the first round, Foxy.
All right, well, we will keep everybody updated. It's currently 5-4 in a barn burner, Michigan State over Mississippi State.
Let's go.
And the biggest talking point right now is the fact that a guy has a mask on. There he is. Cooper is his name. Cooper.
Okay, nice. It's the other one.
Oh, so you didn't even know who it was?
I mixed those two up a lot.
Not all white people look the same, Foxy.
Yeah, they're
That's
not
so
very
racist.
good, so that's why I mixed them up.
Joining us now is a man that hopefully has the goods.
Yeah.
Because there was a story that has rattled the sports world.
Big time.
And it's coming from a sport that doesn't normally rattle the sports world. Normally, the earthquake on the Richter scale from this particular sport, small.
Tiny.
Very small. Only kind of rattling just their niche group of fans, tight group of fans. Now, I think that fan base is growing because of new rules that are being implemented and how great this man is at talking about baseball. I think he's very relatable. I think he's a guy that people like. So I think the sport is potentially growing. But right now, there's a gambling controversy with the game's biggest star.
Uh-oh.
And we don't really know anything about it other than the headlines and the articles that we have tried to read, but it seems like everybody is kind of fishy about what the hell's going on. Joining us is the voice of baseball for this particular program, the voice of baseball for the next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, from ESPN, Jet Passan. Jet,
we got the corporate jet going on today.
Yeah, I appreciate that little private plane. This one's a big one though, probably a Challenger, maybe a Falcon. See what you got flying on. I love what you're doing today in the corporate realm because we're talking about something very serious here. This is a big deal. Now, obviously, baseball is riddled with very serious things happening. You go all the way back to the Black Sox, right? Scandal.
Yep.
Whenever there was people getting paid off. Then there's the steroids thing, which had 4 or 5 different testimonies in front of government and everything that kind of took off and took over that entire chatter. And now this one feels like it would be right in line with biggest stories of baseball because it involves the game's biggest star that we're all getting introduced to kind of over the last couple of years in Shohei Ohtani, who we all say greatest baseball player all the time. The guy's throwing the ball faster than anybody. He's hitting the ball better than anybody. This guy is 2 positions, playing both sides of the field, and he's the greatest of all time. Now, $4.5 million leaves his account to go to an illegal bookie. Then there's a story that his interpreter, who we've seen on TV a lot, literally the only person I've ever heard That is Ohtani's voice to me from this particular person, because he's always there with Shohei. They're very tight. And it's all kind of murky what we're hearing. You know, he's a terrible gambler. The guy can't pick a winner for the life of him. I mean, he sucks at gambling. He's down $4.5 million. Shohei covers for him. Hey, you're a good friend. You've done good to me. Here's $4.5 million. You go pay this illegal bookie that's currently being investigated by the FBI. Then mid-story changes like, nah, this guy actually stole this money from Shohei. But then there's video yesterday of in the dugout of Shohei, an interpreter, laughing, still getting along. When did Shohei find out about all this? What do you think is the actuality of this? And what do we know right now at this standpoint of the situation as a whole? And I know it's a lot of questions, but just like, what do we know right now, Jed? And why are they getting along right here if there's a chance that Shohei knows that this guy stole $4.5 million from him? Or did he not know that at that time yesterday morning? Like, how's it all kind of unfolding here?
Yeah, let me give you the timeline there, because I can actually explain that one. There's so much, Pat, in this story that we don't know right now and that we can't explain. But at that particular point, Shohei Ohtani knew that there was gambling involved with Ipe Mitsuhara, his interpreter. At that point, the story that had been told to Tisha Thompson, our reporter at ESPN, was that Ipe Mitsuhara had gambled on international soccer, the NFL, college football, NBA, not baseball, all the other sports.
That's huge. That's big. That's big news.
It's an important part of the story, certainly, because, it is different than Pete Rose. It is different than the Black Sox scandal. So at that point, he knew that there was gambling that had gone on. You can go into the clubhouse, in fact, after the game, and Dodgers players were sitting down, and a group of people, front office people for the organization got up and said, hey, there's going to be a story coming out about gambling. Ipe, would you like to say something? And he was just extremely apologetic. Then they left and went back to the hotel. And at some point there, it seems that is where the story changed. Because the expectation was that, this was going to be running this story based on what Ipe Mitsuhara had said to Tisha Thompson, our reporter, on Tuesday. Then Wednesday, suddenly, Ohtani's people come back and say, wait. We disavow the information that was given to you in an interview that we helped set up. Instead, this is our statement. And the statement was that there is a massive theft of money that has gone on. We have documents that show $4.5 million in wire transfers out of a bank account to the alleged illegal bookmaker. Now, what happened during that time, we do not know yet. And why this story changed so quickly, was there information that was found out? And if so, what was that information? Or did something with the original story suddenly not jive anymore? This is the stuff, Pat, that when you put it out there and when there is no transparency about what transpired, you're going to get suspicion. You're going to get skepticism. You're going to get questions. You're going to get people who are assuming, unfortunately, the worst in this situation. Because you can look at this right now and say, if they're changing their story about this, they've got to be covering something up. Now, I think going forward, it's important to look at this like, if he stole $4.5 million, there are going to be charges that are pressed.
Grand theft. Yeah, that's...
Yes. And if charges are pressed in this situation, we are going to get a full public accounting of what actually happened. We're going to know the extent of the money. We found $4.5 million in wire transfers. There could be more potentially. We don't know. There could be other bank accounts. There are so many factors in this situation that we don't know right now that jumping to any conclusions, I think, is irresponsible. But hey, that's what the internet's for. The internet's an irresponsible place. And people are going to go and
not everywhere.
No, the internet's it's okay. It's okay.
The internet's going to let their jokes fly. The internet's going to let their jokes fly for sure.
Right.
But
that's why people like Tisha Thompson are really important, because her job is to go and get the facts And that is what our reporters at ESPN are doing right now. We're trying to figure out the full story so that people don't have to speculate anymore.
Well, that's very kind of them, and we're very appreciative to Tish and to the entire crew there. But if it wasn't for the internet, I don't think any of us would have found out about this.
Nope.
So, I mean, yeah, gift and a curse, your guys' business. And then how some people on the internet who have very creative minds, who are very funny, who can link things together and be like, wait a second. So the way I'm reading this, Shohei kind of like insert GIF, meme, video scene here, and then that's good internet.
Oh, they're right.
Hey, there was some good internet last night on this. I mean, there was a time. Yep.
I mean, I think the one that made me laugh is if you flip the top of the Dodgers lineup, hitting number 1 you have Shohei, and hitting number 2 you have Betts.
Okay. Well, like so there was also a couple tweets about, No. I said Mookie Betts, not more Betts. I mean, there is the internet is going to do its thing, and thank God for the internet, but also thank God for the internet because I think we were able to read the entire article at a much more accessible rate than maybe in the past. And I actually did roll through that thing trying to understand it all, and many others did as well, not even just ESPN journalists. And it's like, there's still so much that has to be figured out. How does this, and Shohei's still hitting the ball. I mean, with all this going on around him, Jordan, game 6, whatever the case is, he is still hitting. He hit one off the wall literally today. He's not going to be affected by this. Does that mean that in his mind, and the people that obviously his lawyers are saying this guy stole from him, we need to assume that Shohei Ohtani either didn't know that $4.5 million left his bank account? We need to assume that Shohei Ohtani is completely ignorant to this. Like, how much do we think Shohei knew about his interpreter's terrible gambling, being the worst gambler potentially in the United States of America? How much did Shohei know about it? Is that also a big part of it all? Like, because everybody's automatically going, Shohei's the one gambling. This guy's running the bets. That's like an automatic assumption for people. But I feel like if you read through what the people in the story, the FBI is a part of this too, right? What they're saying is like, no, Shohei legitimately potentially got frauded here by one of his friends is kind of where we're at right now, right?
They have not talked, neither Shohei Ohtani nor Ipe Mitsuhara, they have not talked with federal authorities yet at this point. Now, that may happen going down the road. Ipe, in his interview with Tisha Thompson, said, I was the one who was doing the bets. I was the one who was gambling. I was the one who had the problem. He took full responsibility for the entire thing. And, as reporters, our jobs are twofold. Number one, we get information, and we put the information out there when people are telling it to us. But number two, we're never going to look at information that's given to us and believe it without checking it, believe it unequivocally. Like, that's the whole art of journalism right there. You have to ask questions. You do have to be skeptical. You do have to be a little bit cynical, but you don't jump to conclusions either. This is going to be something, Pat, that's going to play out over a long time. This is not a one-day story. This is not a one-week story. This is not a one-month story. This is probably not a one-year story. This is going to be something that sticks around for a while now because we have multiple investigations going on at the same time. You've got the federal investigation that's looking into this illegal bookmaker that goes back for a while. You're going to have potentially, if charges are pressed, an investigation into Ipe Mitsuhara's conduct. On top of that, you're going to have an MLB investigation as well. And so there are going to be a lot of people looking into this. And the fact, there's a lot of like, yeah, of course the league is going to sweep this under the rug. That's what they do. It's in their best benefit to do so. There's one issue with that. The FBI is not going to sweep this under the rug. Like, when federal authorities are involved in looking at a crime, they're not looking at this like Shohei Ohtani, because he's the best baseball player on earth, warrants preferential treatment. They're looking at this like there were crimes that were committed, and our duty is to figure out who in committing these alleged crimes was involved and what their parts were. And so I think ultimately the story will come out and we will get a full accounting of what happened here. I just think getting it right now, or even getting it as soon as, like our little lizard brains desire, is not going to be a realistic possibility.
I'm not a lizard. You might be, and that's a whole nother conversation.
I'm a total lizard brain. Yeah,
okay, well, that's a whole other conversation. Don't do that on our show. Okay, there's already been enough.
No, I'm talking about myself and Connor. That's it.
I'm not a lizard. I'm not a lizard. I swear I'm not. I swear.
That's what somebody who isn't a lizard would say.
I promise. I'm not.
Hold on. Can the camera stay on Connor right now?
Yeah.
All right.
Why do you look like Krusty the Clown?
Oh my God!
Well, actually, we had a conversation about that earlier. It's madness, Jet. I'm going for madness with the hair today because it's March Madness. You see?
You see?
What are you doing to yourself?
Jet, let's get back to this, please. Let's talk about the feds. Can we go back to our feds conversation after you said you were a lizard?
Yes.
Which is so bold.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I don't think he even realized what he
We'll talk about that later whenever there's not stuff happening in baseball other than baseball games. But let's get back to this entire convo. It's 2024. We've all seen documentaries at this point, and we understand that the feds majority have good intentions for the law.
Yes.
There's certainly been some FBI investigations that have been a little skewed.
doubt.
But
No doubt.
I do think that's a big point, that this is an FBI investigation that brought this information, not an MLB investigation, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That was the first tipster was from the FBI.
Yes. This all started in Southern California with an alleged illegal bookmaker, and in the process, Ohtani's information came up. And in January, I believe Tish Thompson reported they found these wires from this bank account that has his name on it. And so that is how this all started. That is how Ohtani got tied into this. And, look, like we've been looking into this for a while now. And this sort of reporting, you have to be extraordinarily careful because it is a huge international superstar whose name is being connected with an illegal gambling ring. And if you're going to do that, like, you want to get as full of a story as you can. And especially if you're going to print it, you want to get it as right as you possibly can. And so, Tisha went and, eventually was connected with Ipe Mitsuhara, and she talked with him for 90 minutes. And the fact that he went on the record talking about all of these things that he allegedly did, if you see the quotes in that story, they're wild. Like, it is some crazy stuff that he was talking about. And as a reporter, when you get somebody on the record essentially admitting to doing something like that, it's like a gold mine. And then the story, changes. And that is why, it's why it's so weird. It's why I think people are responding the way they are. When it came out initially, it was like, okay, Ipe Mitsuhara got fired by the Dodgers, and he was tied to this illegal gambling ring. And then you see that and compound it with all of the things that he has said and the way that the story changed. And it just makes you ask questions. Like, that's what comes out of that. They're just questions after questions after questions.
Well, and also things that have happened in the past, you try to link together. We only know what we have seen before. So whenever you hear this, you automatically think this. It's all, and to be completely transparent about this entire thing, we thought there was a chance story was going to come out when we were live yesterday or before we were live. Right. First time since we've been at ESPN where we've gotten a call like, hey, just because we know you've been sued before, and just we got like a heads up, like, hey, everything that is about to come out about this, and they didn't tell us exactly what the story was or exactly what was happening, but it was like, just know that like everything is changing. So we don't, and then the story finally breaks last night. I think was it Ellie? Was it Tisha that broke it at ESPN? I don't know. Whatever. It got delayed.
There was an LA Times story that came out at first, but it didn't have nearly the stuff that Tisha's did. Like when Tisha's story came out, it took a story that was whoa and made it like, whoa, like what is going on here?
WH.
And Pat, like let me say this. I think this is important. Like I do this for a living. I've done it for 20 plus years now, and I've seen a lot of weird stories and a lot of things that at the last minute change. Like what you see out there when we write it, it's sometimes not what we had 15 or 20 minutes earlier. But to see something flip so completely in such a short period of time, there was panic somewhere. What caused that panic? That is going to be, I think, ultimately, if not the next step in this story, then certainly an important one, because those hours between when we were about to print what Ipe Mitsuhara had said on the record to Tisha Thompson, and then suddenly the top of the story is completely different. Figuring out what happened in that area of time, I think, is a really important part of this story.
Well, why don't you guys go do some journalism and figure it out?
Yeah.
All right.
Because you asked me to be on your show. I would be doing it if I weren't here.
Okay. All right. So it's our fault. Of
course.
Okay. Oh, well, of course. Tone's got a question for you. I think a pretty simple one.
Yeah, so Jet, on the flipping of the story, like on the original where it came out that it was Shohei that paid off his friend's debt, basically, to an illegal sports book. Would the MLB have cared about that? Would the MLB have suspended him, do you think, in your opinion, for paying off a friend's debt to an illegal sports book? Or, I don't know if you would know this because I don't know how much of a lawman you are, would the FBI have cared if Shohei paid off his friend's debt to an illegal sports book? Is that potentially a reason why the story changed?
I think those are reasonable questions, and I'll be honest, I don't know the answer to the second one because I don't know in the course of this case what is important to the investigators and what they're pursuing. Yeah. At the same time, Major League Baseball has had a case in the past where there was gambling from a player, Jared Cosart, with an illegal bookmaker, and he wound up getting a fine for it. Okay. Now, if you gamble on baseball, it is a completely different story. But the idea that because you participate in gambling with an illegal bookmaker, that there's going to be some sort of suspension, I see that out there plenty. Like, Ohtani's going to be suspended, Ohtani this, Ohtani that. Like, let's look at it like this right now. As the story that they're telling goes, Shohei Ohtani was the victim of an alleged crime. Like, that is the story that they are telling right now. Yeah. Allegedly, his friend, his confidant, stole at least $4.5 million from him and used it to cover his gambling.
Terrible gambling. The guy sucks at gambling. We got to make sure we hammer it home. The guy,
he's bad.
I think he said it himself. He's like, I'm a terrible gambler. Oh, yeah, you think?
Yeah, we would all say that. So since he's the victim of the crime, if this is how this all goes, and once again, Jet's going to get to the bottom of it if he doesn't have to keep doing interviews in suits.
Sure.
Of course. It's true.
He can inevitably, Shohei's the one that controls whether or not there's any charges pressed against Ipe other than using an illegal bookie, which is what the FBI would come. Yeah. The FBI would come after him for illegal gambling at a rate that was real high. I don't think that's jail time though. I'm not 100% sure. But the stealing from somebody, that would be jail time. $4.5 million is a lot of money. That would be a big deal. But Shohei inevitably in the end would be the one that would have to say, yes, press the charges, or no, don't press the charges. Have you looked into it that far enough to know if that's the case?
Well, what I do know is that at this point, it has been suggested by that side that charges are going to be pursued. Now, that's the sort of thing that can change. And if that does change all of a sudden, then, the skepticism is going to increase even more.
Because if that's the case, then you start thinking about the interpreter, potentially having blackmail over Shohei because he's been with Shohei. I mean, this is like a never-ending, This is like a never-ending story that could potentially get going. And the last question we have for you about it comes from Ty.
Yeah, Jet, I don't remember when Shohei signed with the Dodgers, but if all of this, and I know you said like in January, this whole thing kind of started, the ball started getting rolling on it. Did the Dodgers have any idea that any of this kind of stuff was going on before they committed $700 million to him? Because I know that his interpreter is actually an employee of the Dodgers, correct? Did they vet anything he was doing or Shohei? Or are they just kind of gobsmacked today like everyone else is?
The Dodgers have not addressed that yet. They've, when something like this happens, they essentially say, while an investigation is going on, we are not going to comment. And at this point, we don't know the answer to that question. I mean, that's the thing. I hate going on shows sometimes when I say, I don't know, or we don't know yet, because I would love to have the answers to all these things.
Doesn't know any other kid.
You know what? Me saying I don't know is me better than trying to come out and act like I do and saying something that's wrong.
Orlovsky's trying to learn that as we go.
He's slowly learning it.
That is kind of something he's learning right now. And we're all incredibly proud of Dan Orlovsky for this big transition he's made into potentially saying, I don't know. That's a big deal.
It is huge.
And we appreciate you, brother. Stay on it.
I'm just trying. What does Orlovsky know?
Wow.
You tell us, brother. That's your coworker, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? I'll tell you what he doesn't know. That man doesn't know food. Yeah. He truly
He's
doesn't.
An embarrassment.
He is a child in a grown man's body.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that's a good way to describe everything about him. Really.
Yeah.
Loves football like a child.
Yep.
But then he starts giving these takes like a 12-year-old that knows everything.
Always looks confused.
Yeah. He does.
12-year-old.
Salt. I've never heard of it. What are you talking? Yeah, he's an embarrassment, Jet. We agree. But you aren't. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Passan.
Yeah.
Is he falling asleep?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean.
He said he was a lizard in there?
Yes, he did.
What's that all about?
And to boot, the guy didn't have any answers.
Well, he did. He just said, I don't know one time.
Well, he didn't know Tony's question. He didn't know a couple years. He didn't know mine.
That's journalism. We're supposed to be skeptics naturally.
I know he's, got his ear to the ground, but I mean, Jet.
Yesterday was funny whenever we got a call. Like, hey, take this information however you want, but we would recommend that when this story drops, it's all changing in real time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So no matter of facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. And then get a text like, not going to happen during your show or whatever because things are changing so much. Mm-hmm. And then we open X and it's like, boom.
There it is.
Yeah. It happened. It's like, oh, this must have been what it was. That's why I put out that tweet yesterday with the eyeballs baseball, Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what the story was, but I knew there was something coming down the pipe.
I mean, it makes sense, too, with how flabbergasted he is, because Mizuhara, he changed his story about 40 times yesterday.
Well, see, that's what Jet said.
Yeah, exactly. So it is pretty crazy right now.
I don't fully I choose to believe that Shohei had no idea. I also choose to believe that Shohei was like, once he took $4.5 million from me, he learned it, he said, whatever. You've done a lot of good for me.
Yeah.
And then his lawyers, once they found out that was the case, they were like,
not whatever.
This ain't how this goes.
Yeah.
$4.5 million, you saying whatever, you potentially are being implied now, implicated in this story. But also, this guy stole $4.5. This is not a friend of yours. So I think there's a chance that is in my head how this went down. Because we've heard a lot of stories about people who have money and people very close to them taking a lot of money from them and taking advantage of them because of the fact that you work your way in, whether it's through long-term relationship, new relationship, somebody vouches for you, and then you can kind of just prey on something, especially if Shohei's not like, I'm looking at my bank accounts every day, I'm on top of my finances, I got a person that does that, we check in maybe every 3 months, this is what I'm supposed to get paid, here's how much money's in my active bank account that I'm using every single day. So there is precedent that this has happened before. Now, this would be to a much larger scale, and the reason for the debt or why the money was being taken is obviously an illegal one, and it involves sports gambling. So it's like it's a big story.
Huge.
But there is a chance that Shohei had no idea.
Right.
And then whenever he found out that it was $4.5 million, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Just signed for $700 million.
Sure.
Need you to do this. You're the only person I've been with for 5-6 years. And then all of a sudden, lawyers find out and they go, this ain't how this goes. And then the Dodgers were like, this ain't how this goes.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited to see what it is as we go forward. Just immediately assuming that Shohei is a degenerate gambler, a terrible gambler, and he's using his interpreter. He's a little bit aggressive, but you knew that's how people are going to react.
Yeah.
Because that's happened in sports in the
For
past.
sure. And you could also see this guy, his interpreter being like, just kind of panicking and being like, oh shit, like if I'm going to get caught, because like, is he ever going to get a situation like it's like you have like one of the biggest superstars on the planet who absolutely needs you everywhere he goes. Like they're treating him like a king too. You know, like when they're going on road trips and stuff like that.
Restaurants that are
exactly, and like the hotel rooms, like he's getting all the amenities. Yeah, exactly.
Great.
And he's getting paid $500,000 a year on top of probably whatever Shohei's paying him.
Which is why people would say he would take the fall.
For sure.
Which is a whole nother conversation that leads into it. So we're excited to hear how the baseball world figures it out. Jet and Tish in the ESPN baseball reporting community, go work on that.
Good work. Crushed it.
That's long-term journalism.
Yep.
Now, it's all going to need to continue going now.
It is. Get some sleep, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jet hasn't
Go to
slept in
bed.
weeks.
Yeah, he's sleepy.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, from what he told us, he might not need sleep, but
What are you saying, Krusty the Crown?
I mean, you heard what he said. He said, I'm a lizard. That's what he said.
Why did you say our little lizard brains?
I don't think he knew.
I think
he was saying it in a different way that we definitely took it. Because I know how we took it. We were talking.
Oh, you blink this way instead of this way.
Which dimension?
Oh, I
are you
heard
from?
about you. Oh.
Yeah.
Well. Finally,
Where are you living underground at?
Speaking of potential aliens, people not from here, Jameis Winston is in the Cleveland Browns building.
Yes.
And we're already getting a couple, videos out of the facility. He took a snap yesterday in the weight room in a full suit with a jacket on in his first day in there, and gave a cadence. Said, we're running 18 and 19. We're running 19. I'm going to go this way. Guy trying to get his offseason workout. Yeah, I got it. And hands off. A great facility, by the way.
Yeah.
Beautiful facility. Punters would bomb balls off the roof of that thing every single rep, so that's a little bit disappointing. Maybe we make the roof a little bit higher. This is the pros, but Luke Rose is right over, looking over top of Jameis Winston right there. Otto Graham, look at the legends kind of scattering the building around there. And then Jameis Winston's right in the middle of a workout. Strength and conditioning assistant there with the foam rollers. Like, we're in the middle of a warm-up, but yeah, Jameis needs to get some snaps. I get it. Make sure you feel comfortable in this Cleveland air doing center quarterback exchange. He also made a video for the Browns fans. And I don't know if they watch it and said there's no flub, send it, but I do appreciate that they sent this one out. Here's Jameis's hello to the dog pound.
Public service announcement. Dog pound. What's up?
All right. I'm sure they could have shot that a couple more times.
No flub, send it.
No flub, send it. Public service announcement. Let's keep it moving. Jameis is a wizard with the words. He is a weapon whenever he's around. And he said all he's trying to do is bring out the greatness in Deshaun Watson. That young man has so much potential. I'm here to help bring it out. Hell yeah, Jameis. We need you making selfie videos for the Browns social. We need you taking snaps fully clothed in the gym. We need the motivational speeches before the game. I am so pumped that Jameis Winston is back in the NFL in a big way. And congrats to the Cleveland Browns. Getting old, eating Dubs man himself in there and letting him be himself.
Yeah.
Letting him be himself, which I think is the biggest deal.
I mean, how do you think he walked over? Do you think he walked over with a football to that guy? Like, hey, you look like a center. Can we get a couple here?
Let me get one.
Or do you think they were mid-stretch and he was like, hey, go get a football now? Look at that cameraman on the left.
Is that necessary?
What's that?
Okay, in this day and age, I see what Foxy does with his iPhone. Is it necessary? Because
we're not getting into this whole thing right now.
I mean, remember
we get in this conversation with a lot of people.
I've seen like NBA teams have been here, NFL teams have been here with these big old school 600-pound cameras.
Yeah, but they care more than we do. Remember,
the Texans and Chargers had two people sweating bullets
carrying 60-pound cameras.
Yeah, struggling.
Yeah, but remember, they can drop that thing in slow-mo better than us.
Yeah.
Ain't that what we're told?
I don't.
Yeah, everything. They say everything. I promise you the best camera in the world is your iPhone. I promise you. It can do everything you need it to do.
I mean, you also don't look like an asshole everywhere you're walking in.
Yes.
That's the issue. Like, Foxy and I will walk somewhere. It's like, oh, we should definitely get some content here.
Imagine if he had to carry that around. Maybe we should.
He'd be jacked if he had to carry that.
Yeah, people
around.
were calling him fat, weren't they?
Yeah, I saw a couple people saying
More than one,
Fatso, not Evan Foxy.
Whoa, what's that all about, Foxy?
Hey, I'm just so glad we used to use big cameras way, way, way back in the day, and it wasn't even that big like other people do. Thank God we use iPhones.
Well, and that was why we transitioned, right? Because
Yes.
a couple people were like, "Hey, Foxy's not strong enough to carry this thing around."
How's he going to do that all day?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to go-
For
he needs
7
to go to
days
the
a
cell
week.
Because he was filming like this, and then every angle we had of everything
Yeah.
was him like holding
Yep.
it
Yeah.
down
Lower.
here like a sack of books in high school.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
That's
my
the
back
problem.
would give out.
Yeah, his legs would start shaking.
Right.
We've been in a couple events where there's a lot of influencer assholes, and they all have their camera people around them. No normal anything happens ever
Nope.
with those cameras around.
I'm surprised you don't wear that clip-on road mic that all those assholes are now just wearing.
That was a good
24/7.
invention, though.
Oh.
That was a good invention because remember there was the plug-in law that would go into your phone in your pocket.
Yeah.
Then you would have to share the audio,
file, yeah.
the file to link up with the video. So I think that was a good.
No, great invention. But I saw 400 of them at the Slapfest.
Yeah. At least.
Yeah, a lot of these.
Oh yeah.
Imagine walking into a diner with one of those in like any city ever. Everybody in there is like,
Hello.
what's going on?
Yeah.
What natural reaction do you get ever out of anything?
None.
And the phone is just perfect because
Yeah, it
everybody
is.
has one.
It's sly.
And Foxy is just, he really is
He is
money
clean with
at
it,
holding it without anybody knowing.
Every once in a while, though, he'll look like a mark. I'll turn around and I'll be like, Foxy. He'll look like a...
Got to do what you got to
No,
do.
he'll be holding it like this. He'll be holding it like this. And he's just like walking, trying to get the shot. And I like turn around. I'm like, natural. You look real natural.
That's actually my go-to move right there.
Foxy, you look real natural, Foxy. Way to go, pal. Way to go. But you are the least maintenance camera person of all time, I think.
Yes, for
I
sure.
try to be, and then the only thing the iPhone could improve, which the new one does, and I need to get it ASAP, is the zoom. That's the only thing.
Yeah, the zoom is great. The zoom out is fantastic, but, it's not good enough for some of these influencers. Michigan State up 27-18. Here we go.
Let's go.
And
Duquesne up 9-zip over BYU. 9-zip over BYU. BYU was favored by 9.5.
yeah, they were.
So right now you're 18.5 into good, 9-1 now. BYU gets on the board from the foul line. The Duquesne team will slap the floor.
Oh yeah.
do.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're not scared to foul you.
It's that prison
They'll
defense.
put you up there. Absolutely. They are above a prison.
That's where they train.
That is something that's going to take place. Let's talk about John Rahm a little bit, shall we? We talked about golf happening this past weekend at the Players. Good weekend for PGA.
Great.
Scotty Scheffler makes an incredible run. Xander Schauffele's up there. Harmon, they start cutting to him mid-wiggle, so he's actually fun to watch because the guy's an incredible golfer. The Players was broadcasted well. The crowd showed up. I mean, it was, he got to 17th. There's just, everything was awesome for the Players and for the PGA. The only thing that is a little bit of a downfall is like, I like to see Scotty Scheffler try to do that against Dustin Johnson.
Yeah.
What?
I'd like to see Scotty Scheffler do that against Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Scotty Scheffler try that against Rombo Bombo John Rahm.
That's right.
And we're not the only ones saying that. I guess John Rahm was saying the same damn thing. He said, I'm watching and I would like to defend some of my titles. Some of these things mean more. I think he is feeling a little bit of like, damn, I wish I was still there. He said, I made the decision. This is 100% on me. They're paying me more money than I would have ever made ever in the PGA if I would have played for the next 50 years. So I made this decision. But there is a little bit of, a little FOMO. Feels like he has a little FOMO.
Bummed out.
He's the first one. He is a little bummed out. He's the first one that's come out and said this publicly. I assume the others have felt this way since the beginning. And on the flip side, I bet there's sometimes whenever the PGA people are watching something that's taking place with Liv, and they're like, man, it would be nice to play against DJ right now when DJ's hot. It'd be nice to see Brooks Koepka back and play against him every single week, maybe in John Deere Classic.
Yeah.
I assume there's been a lot of this. This is the first real human element. And also John Rahm, I think he understands, he was the big swing.
Yeah.
For a lot of, he's loved. He's incredible. He's in his prime. He is a guy that can win any tournament that he's in, whether it's PGA, Live, or Major at this exact time. So John Rahm is the big swing piece of this entire thing. Might be the reason why they come together. Remember, Tiger and the leader of the PIF it was meeting in Bahamas with Monahan. Like Rahm might be the one that ends up driving the thing to come back together, but he's also being a human about the whole thing, which we're incredibly proud.
Everyone was loving Rahm for this because he was very open. He talked about the tournament. He talked about the players. He talked about all the shots. Like he was saying how much he watched of it, and he was breaking it down. And it was cool for him to come out and just be like a real human and actually talk about how he was feeling because he is the first one, it feels like.
How about Wyndham Clark putting that one?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, like he was paying attention. We all are. It's golf season. We need you to carry us through the weekend, but not this weekend. It's March Madness. We'll continue the coverage of that and more chatter on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Take 3.
Hello and welcome to Office Championship Championship Wrestling live in Indianapolis, Indiana. Tonight, we have a straight to hell match in which the Devil will battle against our office wrestler, Dylan Boston. You might be wondering how we got here. Let's find out right now.
And now we have to make a deal with the devil.
Yeah, no big deal. Classic trial by combat situation. We got our champion, Dylan Bostic. All he's got to do, win the match, 1, 2, 3, and we're home safe.
The only man that would take the job to protect us from the devil himself, Dylan Bostic.
Like you mentioned, Pat, there's probably about 5 or 6 other guys we'd rather have in this position, but we'll take Bostic, I guess.
Not only are all of our souls on the line, the Office Championship Wrestling Championship, presented by Natural Light, is also on the line.
Jesus, the devil's trying to put Bostic straight to hell!
I do not want to go
Good
to
God,
hell!
no!
Don't do
Good
it!
God, no! Come on, Bostic, Pat!
Oh, no! Oh, my...
I'll see you in hell, Pat. The goddamn Easter Bunny's out here! What the hell's he doing here?
The Easter Bunny is obviously here to help Dylan Bostic. Wait a minute. No!
No!
The Easter Bunny's been on the devil's side this whole time. Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! Jesus
What the hell's
Christ!
Jesus Christ doing here?
The power of Christ is compelling Dylan Bostic.
Look at this, Pat! Jesus Christ is bringing Bostic back to life! Jesus is going insane! And now Bostic's kicking wholesale ass in the ring!
Jesus Christ has come to help Dylan Bostic defeat the devil and defeat the Easter Bunny. What's gonna happen here?
Good God Almighty, it looks like he's going up in the scissor lift!
Jesus is lifting the scissor lift! Jesus is now telling Bostic to come down from
Don't do it,
heaven.
Bostic! Don't
No!
do it! Oh my God!
Oh.
Bostic's dead! He's dead! You can't tell from home, but that scissor lift is about 8 stories up, Pat!
80 feet in the air! Oh wait, he's tuning up the bed! The devil!
Super kick! Into the casket! The devil goes down! The devil goes down!
He shuts the casket!
And
Straight
that's
back to
it!
hell! The devil goes straight back to hell, where he belongs!
With the assist from Jesus Christ of Nazareth!
Dylan Bostic saves the PMI office's souls and wins the OCW championship right here on our...
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
What?
let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig!
Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport!
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this March Madness has begun Thursday, March 21st, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now.
Sports
are happening in real time right now. March Madness has officially begun. We have the Michigan State team beating the Mississippi State squad.
Hell yeah.
We have Duquesne beating BYU.
Yeah.
Could be our first massive upset of this March Madness tourney. And without further ado, let me introduce the crew that I get to talk to. Ladies and gentlemen, the Toxic Table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs, rocking his Duquesne Dukes 3/4 zip there, or quarter zip there. Hey, we're about to get a big time win over BYU.
Yeah, 17-10 right now, which is a perfect start in the A10 championship. They came out hot as well. Duquesne is a hot starting team. We just need to hold on.
Okay, well, we're in the middle of March Madness.
Yep.
We're in the middle of college basketball being college basketball.
Love it.
And we teased this in the first hour, but now it is time for maybe the biggest battle of this March to take place.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all seen the headlines. We all read the stats and the facts. We all heard the story. The Indiana State Sycamores got screwed by the NCAA March Madness Committee.
Yes, they did.
Today, right here in this Thunderdome, we will have a chance at redemption, a chance to tell the NCAA to go to hell once and for all in a one-on-one basketball game. Introducing first, a man who would be all country in whatever country he chose to play in.
That's right.
Not only is he our All-American, not only is he Indiana's hero, not only is he must-see, must-watch, ladies and gentlemen, number 21 for the Indiana State Sycamores, Robbie Avila! Thank you so much for coming out here, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You look amazing. Fresh off a big-time dub in the first round of the NIT tournament last night, where the Indiana State Sycamores scored 101 points. Wow. Just a reminder, Virginia, who got in over the Sycamores, had 14 points in the first half. Don't know how to make a bucket. You know who knows how to make a bucket?
Who's that?
Who's that?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Larry Nerd.
You. Hell yeah. You.
Now, his opponent in his one-on-one game, 2-5. To set the record straight on whether or not Indiana State should have been in March Madness or not. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan Charles, Abraham Anderson, the NCAA. This guy sucks.
Boo! He stinks, Cream.
Here's how this will work. It'll be a one-on-one game to 5, boys. 1s and 2s, okay? And if Indiana State wins, Indiana State was supposed to be in March Madness.
Yep.
If the NCAA, standing at a staggering 5'6", is able to beat Larry Nerd, Indiana State wasn't supposed to be in the tournament after all.
Well.
Indiana State stinks.
What?
Indiana State is crap. That's only if this 5'4" man who's representing the NCAA is able to beat the 6'10" Robbie Avila.
Yeah!
This match will be officiated by Bruce Brown, a man who has never officiated anything, and to be honest, it's a lot of responsibility for him, but he will absolutely crush it. Bruce, game to 5, 1s and 2s. We did do a coin flip beforehand. The NCAA will get the ball.
Okay.
Dumpy, we will check. We will play.
Here we go.
Court. Good luck out there.
Going that way.
My rules, my ball. Not like that, Cream. I like that little gamesmanship here from Indiana State. NCAA, we assume, is going to huck one up from deep. Air ball out of bounds. Indiana State ball.
It's out of bounds.
It's basketball.
Bruce, do you have a whistle or not? I mean,
we got a whistle. Guys jumping on his whistle. Ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. Kicking the ball, kind of illegal, but not in the Thunderdome.
On the floor.
Robbie Avila. Oh, my God. Look, the NCAA staring right at his hand. Left-handed. 1-0. 1-0. Good guys.
Good bucket.
NCAA plays hard defense.
NCAA was smacking the wood and sniffing butt there.
Make a take or?
No, yeah.
Split it up.
We'll split it up. NCAA second possession. Remember, the NCAA has suspended a guy for eating a cheeseburger before. Robbie Avila! SWAT team! Rebound! Got to take it back for sure.
Take back, yeah.
We will have a post-game interview with the winner of this match, whether it's the NCAA or if it's Larry Nerd. Mid-range.
No.
NCAA playing head games.
Called nope.
Got a rebound behind the back. Right hand dominant, seemingly.
Yeah, don't let the NCAA.
Dribbling with his left hand, the NCAA. This is the most balance we've seen from the NCAA. All right, another air ball. Oh, no. Oh,
Bob with the hand.
The NCAA is relentless, aren't they?
Yeah, he is.
The NCAA can really be a pest.
They never quit.
People forget the NCAA is located here in Indianapolis. They told this man he wasn't good enough. 2 fakes and a shimmy, 2-0. 2-0 right now, Indiana State. The NCAA seems to be outsized, outmatched, outwitted.
Yeah, having a tough time on the low block here.
Check ball game. 2-0 down NCAA, who might be getting tired at this point.
Oh, that's
Raindrops.
Oh, man.
That would have been a tie game.
Yeah,
If that one would have fell, NCAA somehow tied 2-2.
NCAA wanted that one real bad.
I like the fact that Robbie said, I'm not taking these. Remember, he missed that earlier.
Yeah, he did.
Smooth.
He did.
NCAA with a great fake floor slap into a block.
Well, that's what the NCAA is, just a bunch of fugazi. Are they winded right now? It's 3-0. It's 3-0.
Come on, NCAA.
Game to 5. The NCAA looks like a former ship painter. Almost a steal. Pump
Travel. It's going to be travel.
It's not Gumpy. His name's NCAA.
Step back.
Come on, Bruce. Have you not seen a step back?
The future NIT champion is up 3-0 against the NCAA, who spit in Indiana State's face on Selection Sunday by not allowing them in to March Madness.
Game time.
Check it. Step back. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the game. Once and for all, the NCAA has been buried, and the small team rides. Robbie, we would like to have a post-game interview, if that's okay with you.
Versus Mike.
Yeah,
Bruce, your mic's still on.
Attaboy, Robbie.
Hey, congratulations.
Attaboy, Robbie.
Congratulations. Really appreciate you coming by.
Way to win out there. Way to win.
I wanted to be, yeah, my man. Hey, if you want to put nobody's going to ask you anything in the back. We're good. All right, so when you knew you were going to be playing against the NCAA, fresh off first round of the NIT tournament last night, were you worried? Were you a little bit upset? Were you eager to maybe show the NCAA that you guys are much better than the credit they gave you on Selection Sunday?
First off, I'd like to see you look good in those goggles. They really fit you. But when I found out we were playing the NCAA today, I had to put my game face on. I was ready. But, they left us out. That one hurt. But, we're in the NIT. We're going to go ahead and, do our thing over there.
Minnesota, Sunday, 2 o'clock on ESPN2, second round of the NIT tournament, hosted here in Terre Haute, Indiana, the Holman Center. Your style of basketball is awesome. 101 points last night in the first round of the NIT.
Yeah,
That's
unreal.
And you guys... I got a lot of tweets about you guys being down. You know what I mean? Because I did a lot of talking. I did a lot of talking pretty loud about how trash that Virginia team is. And then obviously you guys were down, come back, we get the big win. When you're not selected to the tournament, was there like a pretty strong reaction as much as everybody else that knew of your team's existence in the locker room? Pretty bummed out, I would assume?
Yeah, no, definitely. Everybody was hurt. We thought we did enough to get in, but the committee thought otherwise, but, it is what it is. We were able to kind of move on from the situation, kind of take what we got. And so, the NIT is where we're at right now. We obviously won the first game. It was a close one. Minnesota will be another tough game, but, we're looking to win the entire thing. And so we're going to go ahead and just, do our best despite getting outside that tournament.
Which name do you like the best? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Nerd? Is there any others?
Saw Steph Blurry.
Steph Blurry. Yep. See, my personal favorite is Rob Wave. I like Rob Wave, so that's my personal.
Okay.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is definitely the most creative. It's up there for sure.
Okay, so your style of play. Joker, I assume, is somebody you watch and say, like, okay, pretty similar in the way because we're no-look passing.
Oh, yeah.
We're draining. We're shooting. I mean, you just hit a step-back NBA 3 right there.
Running the floor.
Yeah, like you're everywhere. Is Joker a guy that you look at as your style of play, or should we be saying somebody else?
Yeah, definitely. Jokic is definitely the main one that I look after, but I think another big one is Sabonis.
Oh, yeah.
Our player development guy, AP, he's big on the clip, so we watch a lot of NBA stuff, and so Sabonis and Jokic are the two main guys that we watch a lot.
Ton Diggs has a question for you.
Yeah. Now, you're going to say the politically correct thing here. What?
The politically correct?
Sorry that's how that happened.
Sycamore correct.
Sycamore correct thing to say here, okay? in my mind, you've earned yourself, I don't know, 20 to 30 million in NIL this year.
I'd say. And you got a merch store, by the way. Let's go ahead and plug the merch store. We would like to support
Does Indiana State have the NIL collective to pay you what you need to be paid, okay? Or do we need to be looking big time?
Nah, they're definitely on the rise, especially from this year to next year. They're definitely on the rise. I think obviously, money's a lot. NIL is big now in college. I think for me personally, it's not everything. I think the style play and, the actual basketball piece is a lot more important to me. But, the NIL is definitely on the rise there in Terre Haute.
Good kid.
Did you feel as if, there's a big wave behind Rob Wave this year whenever your highlights hit the internet and everybody on the internet's like, that's AI? That's Photoshop? That's the real deal? Did you feel the momentum of your popularity this year?
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously my social media has been blowing up, but the reactions I get from the things I do out in the court, some are obviously hilarious. The way I look out there, but everybody's all positive. There's some negatives, but it's definitely been a huge jump from what I've seen.
I should have done a little bit more research. How long have you been 6'10"? Have you always been the tall guy playing basketball?
I've always been a tall guy. I got 6'10" probably, my freshman year. That last year was probably when I got to 6'10".
Oh, you're still growing.
I probably got another inch or two. Yeah.
Damn. How tall are the parents? How tall are the parents?
Parents aren't. They're both 5'11" each.
What?
So
How'd this happen?
It's crazy. I just kind of jumped. My brother's 6'4". My sister's 5'11". She's only 14, so she's still growing. But I just kind of outgrew everybody else.
Where are you from originally?
The south side of Chicago, Oak Forest, Illinois.
Okay, so AAU, you did all that stuff. I
played with Nike Mean Streets.
Damn. Okay, how were we? Were we good?
We were pretty good. Yeah, no, we had a lot of team. Actually, one of my guys plays for Duquesne right now. Kareem
Let's
Rozier.
go.
My guy. Yeah,
they're beating BYU
we're
right
pretty
now.
good. I know they're up right now. I'm rooting for him. So
okay, so is he. So is LeBron. Feels like.
Hey, yeah, LeBron's donating $40 million to Duquesne's NIL. I heard.
Yeah,
so if you
something to think about.
Take a look at it.
No, he donated shoes. He didn't.
I saw the shoes. I saw the shoes. I didn't hear anything else.
Well, a couple years from now, those shoes will sell for damn near $40 million.
Yeah, you're damn right. Especially because the video, especially if Duquesne gets a 9.5 point dog win.
Yeah, and they go all the way.
Are they the first surprise of March?
Feels like it.
Might be.
You guys, you feel like with the way your team plays, you're going to watch every game and be like, we could have played in this game. We could have won this game. Is that just natural, you think?
100%, yeah.
Like those playing games
guys,
that first night?
Yeah, no, all the guys watching these games, obviously, the teams out there, they just kind of earned their way in. But, every game we watch, we're like, we could have did that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Love that.
Now, what's going to happen, though, this is just like in college football, with how loud we were about it. Like, you got to win the NIT.
Got to back it up.
You know what I mean? Like, got to win the NIT because I don't know if you saw the social last night. I did because of how loud we've been about you. Whenever you guys were losing, the Virginia fans were attacking like, oh, we were bad, huh? They can't even get through it. Let's go win this thing. What I don't know what NIL rules are. You got how many people are on your team?
We got 15 guys.
15 guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys win the NIT, we'll give 10 grand to everybody.
We ran into this with Indianapolis baseball.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I'm even allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But if you are,
the rules are crazy.
You guys will all get a $10,000 sponsorship from the Pat McAfee Show, in which you just have to put out something on your social media about the program.
Boom.
That is a open deal
like
to
a deal.
the Indiana State Sycamore team. You win the NIT, everybody's getting 10 grand a post. What's that?
It's the if you win the NIT. I remember this because it can't be incentive based.
Okay, we will agree to terms the day after the NIT championship.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so we just got
right.
Yep.
And this is not him at all.
No.
Hey, NCAA, you just got your ass beat 5-0.
That's right.
Bring him out here and beat his ass again.
We will. Don't you even think about messing with this entire. So the day after the NIT championship, we will meet again about a potential sponsorship for everybody on your roster.
Boom.
Okay, that sounds good. We just did it. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Pat talked about like your kind of celebrity growing this season. I assume that you are the most popular guy on campus now. Like when the season started to progress a little bit, did you notice like were people talking more shit to you during like conference games and stuff like that, or were people going at you a little bit differently, kind of towards the end of the season than they were at the start, like when you kind of blew up?
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously we were, at the top of the conference as a team, but, we were getting a lot of attention. I was getting a lot of attention. And so there's, other, good guys in our league that, deserve, attention like that. And so when they see, obviously us and me getting all this, social media exposure, they're like, I can do that guy. I'm better than that guy. And so they always go and try, to prove it. And so we got every team's best shot. Sometimes it didn't work out for them, But
how is your
we
defense?
did
You
it.
feel good about defense?
I definitely got to work on it. I'm not oblivious to it, but I'm not that much of a liability.
Well, that's how
I can
you
get-
swat the NCAA.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I can block shots. Being 6'10" helps.
Yeah, I would assume.
Being 6'10" helps.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been, but it seems like it's a great time.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's a
now
lot
in
of
regular
fun.
life, though.
No, it's got some issues, but it's also got some perks too. It's got perks too.
Certainly on the court. Let's talk about these.
Oh yeah.
Always play with them?
I originally played football when I was younger, and I had glasses, but I obviously couldn't go out there. I played my first year blind, and I just went out there with no goggles, no nothing. I was like, I couldn't see nothing. I see a different color jersey, and so I told my mom, I need something to see out there, so we went goggles, and I've been wearing them ever since.
So no contact thoughts? Contacts?
So I tried to go contacts my sophomore year in high school. I tried to wear them for a few days, and then it was after like the second day of trying them, my brother came up to me, he said, yeah, you can't do that. And he goes, you're not you without your goggles. And so he said, you're not allowed to do that. And so I had to go right back to the goggles. I never tried contacts again.
What?
Yeah,
We got LASIK now, too. I mean, there's a lot of different options.
No, sir. Well, I got to keep the goggles now.
Hey, the
It's part
goggles
of
are
me.
sick.
It's
Goggles
part of
are
Robbie.
sick. Connor's got a question for
Pat mentioned the Larry Nerd nickname Indiana State, because of you and the whole team, they haven't been really relevant since, Larry.
Yeah.
Has he come back, and have you had any conversations with him, whether he's been there or just over the phone?
Unfortunately, no, he hasn't.
Come on, Larry.
I've never met Larry. I've never talked to him, but he's a busy guy. I know he's doing his own thing, so I respect that. But I have not met Larry yet. No.
Do they talk about the Larry days over there still? Or is there anybody
all the
hanging
time?
out? Oh, there
It's
is.
all the time. Larry's obviously still the legend over there, and he's got a statue out in front. So.
What year are you?
I'm 22, so I'd be 26. I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore?
Sophomore, yeah. I got 2 years left.
Here we go.
How close are we to points record and all that stuff?
I'm not touching Larry. Larry
say,
had
Larry-
that.
yeah, Larry scored
I think he scored almost 3,000. I think I'm at like 950 right now. Yeah,
We're gonna have to get hot.
I think Larry averaged like 30 a year. There's 3 years he was there. It was.
What you get? You had 17, 7, and
8
this year?
I averaged, it was 17 and a half, 7 rebounds, and it was 4 assists.
Okay. Hey, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
We appreciate you so much for representing. And also, the NCAA has done a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, they have.
So for you just to drop one in their eyeball right here to win that thing, what a time.
I mean, should we bring NCAA back out so we can get maybe one, posterized dunk on the NCAA?
Do you dunk much? I haven't seen many
I
highlights.
don't dunk much. I save mine for the games. I'm not much of a dunker, but I will surprise you once in a while.
Oh, we do have it in the bag.
I might be able to, yeah.
Well, you're 6'10".
I am 6'10", yeah, but I'm not the most athletic. I make up with the IQ. I'm a lot smarter.
Hell yeah.
You've seen the passes. You've seen the passes.
Passes are sweet.
I make it up with that.
What's the major? What's our major?
Sport management.
What's that mean?
It's pretty much like on the business side of sports. Whether it's marketing, accounting.
Oh, so that's why we got that merch store?
Yeah, that's what we got it up there for.
Hey, let's run that merch store real quick. Here
Run
we
it
go.
up there, run it up.
And I'm pronouncing this right. Robbie Avila?
Avila, yep.
Is that the best that anybody's pronounced it?
I've heard a lot worse, yes.
I've only heard of Via.
I've only heard of Via too, so it's good to
but
know.
It's Avila, yeah. I've heard of Avila, Avilia, Avila.
All wrong.
All wrong. Avila.
Which one's your favorite? The one with the goggles there? Exclusive release, Robbie Avila?
I like actually, if you go scroll up, I like the one with my signature on it, the middle one in the black.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty tough. It's
clean.
All right,
It
we'll
is.
give away 20 of those.
I love that.
Boom.
So we'll buy 20 of those now. And then we have a meeting the day after the NIT. When's the NIT championship? Do we know when that
April
is?
4th, I think.
April 4th. there
Boom.
it is,
April
yeah.
4th?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think April 5th
Here,
we're
right?
busy.
It's at Hinkle,
Right? It's at Hinkle, yeah.
Yeah.
April 8th, there's the thing, we're busy.
Yeah.
April 9th, we have a
April
meeting.
9th.
Tuesday.
Deal?
Sounds good.
Day after the eclipse.
Day after.
You guys got to hold up your end of the bargain. Not that there is a bargain.
No,
there's no bargain.
There's no
Just
bargain.
Gotta
meeting
finish
after.
There's a meeting on the 9th.
Yeah.
Finish your story.
Yep.
Yes, finish your story. And that story can go two different ways. Let's do the right.
We'll figure it out.
Win the NIT, you're in next year no matter what, right?
It sounds nice, but I don't know if that's how it works.
Yeah, I
it's
think
not-
it is.
I don't think
It
that's how
used
it
This is
works.
what you guys need to do. We were trying to do
That'd be
this
sweet.
with soccer. When we won the CONCACAF, which is the soccer teams over here, Canada, us, Mexico,
Trinidad, Tobago.
Jamaica, everybody. It's called the CONCACAF. So we won that one. And then the Europes, they all compete against each other. And who won that one?
That was it
England?
France? I think it was France.
I think it was Italy.
Anyways, they hold theirs in such high regard. So we wanted pink slips. We wanted CONCACAF versus the Europes.
Yeah.
Champion versus champion. If you guys do win the NIT, I think you're immediately calling out the NCAA champs, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it would sound nice. I don't know if we can get that scheduled, but I think it would sound good.
I mean, if you call them out and they don't schedule it, who's that on?
You guys won.
I think we win.
You guys hang the banner.
I think it sounds good. I think we become the national champion.
That's right.
Boom, now we're talking.
Yeah, you get it.
But to do that, there's a lot of things that have to happen.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Sunday,
Yep.
2 p.m., ESPN2, second round of the NIT. Go ahead and check out Rob Wave, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's right.
Larry Nerd.
What?
Robbie Avila. Thank you so much for coming. That was awesome. Appreciate you, man. Sweet tats, too. Are we getting full sleeves someday? Or?
I'm working on it after basketball season.
Okay, all right.
Got the Mamba one.
Hey, I'll tell you what, you guys win. Might be easier to get that thing done quicker.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, my guy.
That was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Robbie.
Robbie. Come in, kick some NCAA ass and leave.
In the uniform.
What a
So tall.
What a beast.
Hey, you, Avila is a, what type of, where's that from? Mexican? Yeah. So everybody just calls you like the Great White Hope. You're not really.
No, I'm not. I'm half Mexican, half white.
Okay, all right.
The Great Hope.
The Great Hope.
The Great Hope.
The Great Hope. Hey, we appreciate you.
Yeah, Robbie!
Woo! He had class this morning. After class, he headed this way.
Yep.
Beat up on the NCAA. Tell us some jokes. Set up a meeting on April 9th, potentially.
Great speaker.
Great. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Did you know he's south side of Chicago? Holy hell, Duquesne's up 31-21.
Hell yeah.
Now, remember, whoever wins this tournament will be taking on the NIT tournament champion to find out who the actual national champion is. And that is a cool thing to be happening. That game can be played here in the Thunderdome if they need to have it.
Yeah,
sure.
Doesn't have to be.
A little shorter court. Doesn't have to be a full run.
No.
Have a good time with it all.
Not much defense.
Gumpy, we didn't really hear much from you during that entire NCAA Indiana State battle.
Big college battle.
How do you feel like the NCAA did out there? What do you think?
Would have been better if he hit a couple shots, I think. But, you know, that's a big guy he's playing against there. It's tough competition.
I do appreciate the fact that the NCAA's next shot was their best shot, seemingly every time.
Every time.
Was there a confidence factor to that NCAA team that we haven't seen really much of?
You can't be shy with the twos. NCAA knew he needed the twos.
Couple step back jacks, and I thought we were going to fall.
Yeah,
Loved them.
You weren't going to live around the rim if you were the NCAA. That's no place to go in that matchup.
How about the NCAA dribbling with a left hand at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one he almost hit, too.
Yeah,
NCAA
people are saying the NCAA's only got one hand. He barely has that. And then all of a sudden the NCAA's like, wait a minute.
Is that right?
Some go through the legs there, too. That's pretty nice.
And behind the back.
The NCAA went through
Yeah,
the
it
legs?
wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
got him in
lost
the air with the pump
5-0,
fake.
but I don't think he looked terrible.
I mean,
No,
how
I
about the
agree.
NCAA steal? Are we forgetting that? Got one out of Big Bob's hands.
Also, I appreciated the NCAA always following his shot.
Yes.
Trying to get a rebound.
Exactly.
Yeah, worker. NCAA works.
Play defense hard.
Robbie Avila walked around. What was that? Was that a video of him doing in between the legs? I don't know if we got you going in between the legs.
See, if NCAA knew.
I don't think we got you going in between the legs on camera. Which, not you.
There it is.
NCAA.
There it is. He's got the ball between
This
his
might have
legs.
been the left hand. Oh, never mind.
Oh, not a bad.
That was the one.
That was the one.
Was the NCAA smacking the floor? I saw
yeah.
a fake slap of the floor.
Yeah, I think actually right here. There it is. There's the pump fake slap. There. Robbie still stayed locked in.
Hey, big shout out to the Indiana State Sycamores making it happen. Yeah,
NCAA slapped the floor like 8 times on Robbie's first possession.
He did.
and he also talked a lot of trash on the first possession.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it all out. Threw the ball at his chest.
Yeah, he did.
That was a great start. He did.
The NCAA, those rap bastards.
I know.
They're always going to have a little bit of edge.
Yep.
They're always going to have a little bit of
Those
edge.
glasses do look great.
They do, actually.
They look great on you. It's sweet.
I just kind of stole him from him because he's leaving right now. So
You actually kind of look like TC. In what movie is he wearing the goggles?
thank you.
Night
I
and Day.
don't need to know, but thank you.
Ethan Hunt wears them. In,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Somebody else looks really cool on the internet last night. That's Russell Wilson, the new Steelers
Oh, my God.
quarterback.
Oh, you're
Come
telling
on.
me.
He put a workout together in his backyard, one that we have seen in the past that was very similar. This one, different because he's got a Steelers logo on his shorts instead. Looks incredibly fit, looks to be in shape. There was a couple years back where people said Russell Wilson was a little bit fatter and out of shape than he would used to be in Seattle during the great years. Feels like he's all the way back, excited for the opportunity with the Steelers. And what you just heard was Yinzers go 6 to midnight. Now, Tone, you watched this workout and said what to yourself?
I watched this workout. I actually watched it side by side. Someone on the internet put it side by side next to a former Steelers quarterback workout, and the amount of zip that this man has on his ball compared to past quarterbacks that the Steelers have had, excluding 7. So anyone from 7 until Russ. The amount of zip that he has, the accuracy, the way he moves in the pocket.
What about the moxie with the glasses?
The moxie is unbelievable. The stride, the drive. It's boy, oh boy, am I a confident human being going into next year.
As you should be, and I'll be excited to see how long that lasts. Justin Fields is backing up Russell Wilson. I think, we watched Caleb Williams do something similar yesterday.
Not like this, but.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This one had a lot more pizzazz. I mean, Russell Wilson had a lot more pizzazz. The camera angles are obviously in there to showcase the glistening biceps in which Russell Wilson looks incredibly jocked. This might be a revenge body season for Russell Wilson there, con man.
Yeah, I saw the QB, like the 5th best QB coach, Quincy Apple, say that he actually changed his mechanics. Russell Wilson. So we might be seeing a whole different Russell
Quincy
Wilson.
Avery is his name, and he has certainly attacked this particular program in the past. That is why I know his name and why you probably refuse to learn his name. But he is a quarterback coach, and he said, damn, Russell Wilson is seemingly a little bit more rotational, might help with some accuracy. Some of the flaws of the last couple of years might have been fixed in some offseason workouts. Might be getting the best Russell Wilson that they've seen in some time.
Yeah, the only thing I loved 99.9% of this video. The only thing I didn't love was that he was doing it in perfect conditions. Let's get up to Siberia. Okay? Ooh. Let's get up in the wind.
You like the song choice?
I didn't hear the song. I listened to no music.
It was a good song.
It was Red Rum at one point was being said.
It wasn't Donnie Ayers?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Wiz Khalifa's got a lot. Mac Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Pittsburgh. He could have extra sauce Pittsburgh this thing up. Chose not to, which is a very new Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
In the past, Russell Wilson would have put a Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, Donnie Ayers mixed together for that video. And then now he's, what's that,
Brett Michaels on a guitar
Yeah,
somewhere.
they might have put him in there screaming like this.
Yep.
Instead, they go with somebody not. So maybe this is a new Mr. Unlimited as well, not doing too much.
It absolutely is. I mean, it comes down, it's the Pittsburgh fade. It's kind of very similar to how when Tua got his tribal tat, it was like, this is a different guy. This is not the same Tua that we've been looking at.
Right.
Russ gets that haircut. I don't want to deal with that guy on Sundays.
I don't either.
He looks mean, and he looks ready to go.
Lean.
And once again, he's only getting paid $1.2 million from the Pittsburgh Steelers, $38 million from the Denver Broncos.
Jeez.
I'd be pretty happy bopping around life as well if I was getting $39 million next year with the expectations of a quarterback that's only making $1 million. Real babyface turn for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I heard from a source inside the Broncos organization that they had to have a couple more cleaning crews come in last night because Sean Payton saw that and shit his pants all over the facility.
Oh, really?
I believe that.
I thought maybe people were splooging all over the place, the people that made the decision to make him the highest paid quarterback.
Opposite, throwing up and shitting themselves, both ends.
Oh, an ayahuasca retreat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Euphoric, some would say.
Not everybody, though, because some people prepare for the diet and they don't puke and poop.
Right.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot about ayahuasca trips.
I didn't know they get jerseys. I want one.
Yeah, game day.
Yeah.
Worn for 3 ceremonies.
Yep.
Can we just order those, or how's it work?
You gotta earn those, I think.
Is there a website?
Mother God.
Yeah.
They don't do the swap.
Mothergod.com.
I don't think it's a website. It's an experience in real life you have to go do. I can't believe they let the documentary.
I was surprised by that as well.
Documentary, speaking of, full court press, Peyton Manning in Omaha. I believe he'll be joining us next week to talk about what Omaha has going on. Full court press with the women's college basketball should be sweet, which gives us time to make an announcement.
Yep.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Live from the University of Iowa. We will have head coach of the women's basketball team,
Lisa Bluter,
joining us.
Yes. Wow. Thank you, Lisa.
All right, coach.
Some of our requests have been declined to the Iowa women's basketball team.
That's right.
But head coach
Lisa Bluter
said, I'll stop by.
Duh.
I'll stop by.
Love you, Lisa.
Very nice of Lisa.
Yes,
absolutely.
it is.
Can't wait to talk to Coach about the environment. Hopefully people will be there in Iowa because Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, is taking the PJ to Iowa before going to SmackDown, as we all acknowledge, obviously. And we can't wait to get out there tomorrow. Honestly, cannot wait to get out there and see the people. A lot of reunions, with old friends going to stop by.
Sure.
It's cool.
A lot of celebration of Iowa.
Yes.
And then, obviously, it's the last chance for Caitlin Clark to win a national championship. Can't wait to feel the buzz that is probably palpable around town.
Yeah, I mean, again, it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. Let's just leave it at that.
What was that?
I'm
Hold
very
on. You bummed?
No,
What's
no,
going
no.
on?
I'm very excited to go back. Very, very excited to go back to Iowa City.
Sounds a
Haven't
little
been there
nervous,
in a long time. I'm not nervous at all. I had to kind of catch myself there, bite my tongue a little bit.
About what?
Just, about I don't want to come out and say something like, hey, I was going to win the national championship no matter what. I don't want to put any more extra pressure on these girls.
That's very nice of you.
So I had to kind of catch myself there. But, no, I think tomorrow should be awesome. It should. We've talked a little bit about some of these surprises and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a fun day. Let's just say that.
Is Korn going to be there?
Who?
Not with a K.
Korn?
Not the music band, just Korn, because Iowa, that's what they do, right?
Oh, we're going to have just Korn?
We'll certainly see some stalks of corn. Well,
Already?
Actually, we probably won't.
Knee high by July is what I was
4th
told.
of July, yeah.
I thought Iowans keep that thing on them at all times.
That's what I was thinking. Like I didn't know.
Corn
if, like,
cob?
Yeah.
I heard a bunch of corn stars walking all over the place.
Oh, my God.
Optimum Iowa corn star planting dates range from mid-April to the end of April in north central and northeast Iowa, and the first, second week in May in other parts of Iowa. What part of Iowa will you go to?
Ours is, I guess, it's more kind of, it would technically be northeast Iowa, but it's more in the central part of the state. Though.
Oh, so we don't know. Maybe they're waiting until May to lay the seed.
I just didn't know if we'd have like a wheelbarrow of corn there.
It would be cool if we were just eating corn on cob all day.
I'd be so down.
You can still, we could
Will
definitely-
corn show up, though, if we go? Because
in
if
your
we're going
poop?
to Iowa, you would hope that corn would be one of the stars that would come.
I would imagine there will be
We'll put a request in for corn.
a couple people will be eating corn on the cob there, probably.
We will put a request in for corn. We will see if it gets declined.
That's a bold request.
There's a good chance.
This particular corn will not be attending, though.
No.
Although they have some bangers.
They are from Iowa.
What? Are they really?
Seriously? Is that why they're named Corn?
Maybe. I don't know.
That makes so much sense. When you say it, like Derrick Henry to the Ravens makes sense. Corn being from Iowa.
Correct.
Makes sense. Did not know that.
Yep.
What is their big one?
Oh, I'm not the guy to ask.
What? It's
What are we
Iowa
talking? We
band.
talking Freak on a Leash? We
Yeah,
talking
there it
Got
is.
the
Freak on a
Life?
leash.
How's that one go?
Let me hear the.
How's Freak on a Leash go?
I don't know, because I was never really a fan of that screamo bullshit.
What are you talking about?
Whoa!
What are you talking about?
Screamo bullshit.
Corn.
I'm just saying.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah, sure.
Powerball 5000, I think. What?
Limp Bizkit.
Limp
Still
Bizkit
doing
still
it.
doing it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What?
Corn's from Bakersfield, California.
Who's from? Who's
They're not even from Iowa.
from Iowa? One of those,
You just-
hey, one of those other screamo bullshit bands are from Iowa.
All right.
Whoa! Which one's
All
that?
right. Feeling like a freak on a leash. What is the?
Yeah, how does that one go?
Hold on, let me look.
I actually do forget. I wish I did remember.
I was actually hoping that Korn would maybe be a part of like a couple years back when I was getting back into the wrestling. I was like, would be sick. We get Korn on one of these songs.
Blind is their number one.
Let me hear it. We can't play it, but like in your version.
Yeah, Tom.
I just looked it up. I got.
Well, look at the lyrics and then.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
let
think
me
it's
look at.
Hold me now.
Zeta's playing it.
Blinded.
Can you get? Do you guys have it?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Did
they blow up a boat on the MTV show?
Place.
I think that was Fred Durst.
Oh,
Slipknot is from Iowa.
that's who it is.
They wear the masks.
Yes,
They
wear
had a
them.
run. They had a hell of a run.
they did.
They were a little bit more extreme than Korn.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was thinking screamo, all that kind of stuff. Corn, good stuff.
Screamo is awesome. Like when you're walking into a certain place and they're playing Screamo.
Yeah, like
sometimes
if
it
you're
gets the
walking
blood.
down the ramp at a WWE event, like absolutely, it's awesome. Like if I'm just like sitting at my house or like driving home from work, like I ain't listening to Screamo bullshit.
All right, boys, let's do some updates on the NCAA tourney. LeBron James high school coach just got done doing an interview heading into halftime. The Duquesne Dukes have the lead against the BYU
Cougars.
Of course, congrats to Duquesne doing this. Is this be a big deal for the Duquesne?
This would be huge. I mean, they haven't been in tournaments since '77. I got no idea if they won a game in that tournament. I think they might have won the national championship. I can't 100% confirm that or not, but yeah, winning a game would be all time.
Yeah, you know.
It would be all time.
You do know.
I know that they are one of, I think, 5 schools this year to have their football team and their basketball team both win their conference championship.
And congratulations to Duquesne, really doing it.
Absolutely.
I am bummed out that the Indiana State Sycamores are not in the March Madness tourney, and we will obviously continue to cover that story and also March Madness as it rolls on. But there's a story developing out of Alabama where friend of the program, Ike Taylor, was actually the one doing the workouts for the Alabama secondary, which has 2 top 20 picks potentially happening. He's a coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're obviously incredibly proud of him. Way to go, Ike. Way to go, Ike. We got a chance to see him at the Combine, what he's doing. A lot of former players seemingly getting into coaching more and more. That's good for the game. Speaking of good for the game, there's a lot of different rules being pitched at the owners' meetings this weekend in Orlando. We will be down there on Tuesday as the owners' meetings kind of wrapped up. I think we will be able to wrap up. We will have guests from down there. I believe there'll be GMs joining the show. Owners will be joining the show. Not the Crafts, because of what has been said on this show as of late about the Dynasty series. But there'll be a lot of people joining us. One of the rules that is being talked about that's getting pitched this weekend for an owner's vote is the hip drop tackle.
Ooh.
Ari Mirov and many others are saying the definition of a hip drop tackle that is being presented to the owners to vote on by the competition committee. A, grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms. And B, unweights himself to try to unalive the other person's legs by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's legs at or below the knee. NFL owners meet, obviously, this weekend. Shout out to Ari Mirov breaking that down. And as soon as Ari put that out into the universe, boy, defensive players from around the league responded quickly. Kenny Moore just used the trash emoji.
Awesome.
This is a dumpster. Cam Jordan said, basket of trash and trash emoji. Kind of a double shit from Cam Jordan, who's been around the NFL very long time, does a lot of stuff for NFL media, carries a lot of weight, I think. Richard Sherman, obviously, one of our greats. Happy to see him seemingly in good spirits.
Yeah, everything good.
In a good spot. I just wish they forced the entire competition committee to create examples of how they expect a defender to tackle a ball carrier. I want them to act it out at full speed and create video for the players. At some point during the creation of that video, they will realize how insane this is. And then this tweet was quote tweeted by another OG who said, Cam Jordan, we've sat in on competition committee, Sherm. I wish there was former players on both offense and defense who played at a high level in there with power. This may create indecision and slow down a defender making an open field tackle or chasing a ball carrier down, but cheers to a faster game. You're turning us into the Washington Generals.
Yeah.
Is what Cam Jordan is saying. So now we're not allowed to tackle somebody in a specific fashion that we're not thinking about while we're in the middle of tackling. Now, in rugby, I guess they have this potential thing in there because the way the game is, there's pretty identified where the runner is. There's normally people squared up. There's an entire system. They have a great game. Rugby is a great game, but it's not football. Just because you play rugby doesn't mean you're going to understand the leverage and tackling of playing football. I got to witness it personally with us trying to have numerous rugby players transition into football players. Incredible athletes, incredibly tough. But just assuming that it works in one sport, it's going to work in our sport is just not the right way to look at this. Now, will refs be confused as hell trying to figure out if it's a penalty or not? Is the NFL just putting this in just in case somebody does tear an ACL on a tackle that they can penalize it in the spot? How often are refs going to be looking for this or trying to call this? There's just so much questions around it. And if you talk to any player that has tackled somebody in an NFL game on a regular basis, they say this is the dumbest thing of all time. It's not like I'm doing a hip drop tackle on purpose. I am just trying to get a runner on the ground. So this started with some stats people on the internet.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah, you think so?
Exactly where it did.
And now it's made its way into a competition committee meeting where it could potentially get passed and be allowed in the greatest league on earth. And you're seeing all the football people come out and say this decision's being made by people that aren't football people because you've never been on the field. You have no idea what's going on. How much is too much? Does this pass? We shall see over the next 4 days.
Well, in the terminology, like unweight yourself, like isn't that what they're doing every time they sack a quarterback? So it's not allowed to unweight yourself to tackle a runner, but aren't they supposed to unweight themselves when they get a sack?
Now, wait just a moment, okay? Different weight. What you're doing here is pointing out hypocrisy potentially.
Well, we
don't need that. Okay, that doesn't happen.
Competition committee.
Never.
Right.
They would never do anything like that. There's other rules being pitched about challenging certain things that you're not allowed to challenge, like is a quarterback out of bounds before he throws. I think there's also a delay of game challenge that they want to put in there if the clock had struck zero, which is interesting because all you ever hear refs talk about is if you do know, the back judge looks at the clock, looks down at the ball. So there's a half a second, a little bit extra. Will they account for that if that ends up getting reviewed? Also, in the final 2 minutes of the game and of the half, coaches still being able to challenge is being offered up there. Saving a challenge if you get it right, as opposed to having to get both right to get an extra challenge, is being pitched. And the brand new kickoff rule that we went through yesterday is being pitched as well. I think that is most of them.
Yeah. Also, you can challenge. They're at least proposing challenging a penalty call under 2 minutes with 2 minutes left.
Yep, the Indianapolis Colts are pitching that one, which is great news. I believe that is their thing. The Lions are the ones saying we need to keep our challenges.
Eagles wants to add the tenths of a second to the clock,
which is smart. We think.
Yeah,
we think that is smart, especially we have the capability to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Why not? And also, they can see exactly how close you are to zero, a quarterback, and everything's happening in milliseconds. The whole thing about this weekend, the entire game being changed mightily. If there's a new kickoff, and there's a banned way of tackling people on the defensive side. And there's it's like this could be a pretty consequential NFL owners meetings happening down in Orlando.
And with the hip drop tackle, so that'd be like face mask. Obviously, you know when you get in a face mask, like a lot of times it's an accident, but you know the horse collar. You know what you're doing there. The hip drop tackle is so different. Like are you gonna have to? So say a guy's running inside out towards the sideline, and you're right with him. Are you going to have to slow down so that you don't put yourself in the situation where you're around the waist?
Are you going to dive in front of them and try to trip them up?
Yeah.
What is the
style?
It's going to.
That's why Sherm goes, I would like to see reenactments from the competition committee at full sprint trying to do this. Now, remember, competition committee does have coaches in there.
Mm-hmm.
Competition committee does have a lot of people that know football in there, but I assume there's a lot of people in there, we've not been there, who don't know the football.
No.
Watch the football. Kids play video games of the football. In theory, this is how this should work. I'll be excited to see if there's a little bit of common sense in the room or not. And if there isn't, on the hip drop tackle, and then if that kickoff gets changed, it's like, we got a whole new game of football coming out of the weekend.
Well, with this and then not hitting guys high anymore, and now with the hip drop tackle stuff, it's almost like they're telling people hey, you got to missile into guys, thigh boards, and we're just gonna see a bunch of dudes tearing their ACLs now. It seems like
which we don't love.
No, exactly, but that's basically what they're turning it into. Is hey, you got to just cut these guys down at the knees. All right, we don't need you wrapping them up and rolling under their ankles or hitting them high. So just blow their knees out, and then everything's okay.
And you've heard everybody that's ever played publicly come out and say, I'd rather somebody hits me high than in my knees.
Yeah.
But then the CTE thing that happened with Dr. Will Smith and the concussions that take place and the future of players and player safety and everything like that. Even the NFLPA came out against whose grandstands on player safety for everything. I mean, that is the NFLPA's leverage. That is their trump card in the back pocket whenever they're negotiating with the NFL for anything. And the NFL also grandstands on. The NFLPA is like, we are not supporting this hip drop tackle thing. We are the most adamant player safety and health people, but this is just not good for the game. This is not a good trend to start in this entire thing. We'll see how it goes, because allegedly there have been reports, and I think a certain Todd Haley maybe even said this on a show this morning. Todd Haley, former offense coordinator and head coach in the NFL. A man who's been with the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Browns, the UFLs.
Cardinals.
Vipers.
Arizona Cardinals. He's been on the show before. Scott Moxley.
Good football.
Moxley.
Good football brain.
Yeah, and his offenses do well. He said, these rules everybody will be against, and somehow go down to the owners' meeting and something happen, and now rules get passed, and everybody's like, yep, this is good for the game. And they just move along. So that is what this weekend potentially has, is a lot of you don't like it? Well, we're just going to eliminate it entirely, and people are kind of forced to be like, all right, we'll deal with it if we're going to be able to continue to have our jobs, seemingly. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully there is a little bit more of a democracy whenever it comes to certain things that are going to change the game entirely. But a lot of shit could potentially change in the league this weekend.
You sent in something to the group text last week about the idea of NFL free agency kind of not being announced, in that the season just starts and then you find out where all these players went. It would be sweet if they did this with the rules too. If you didn't know there was a new kickoff coming, and then opening night, you just see You just see this brand kicker on his own. All these people over there.
That would be awesome.
It would be sweet if they did that as well.
If you were able to keep it a secret.
Yeah, no one knew about any of them until opening kick.
Not even the commentators. Jim Nance.
Yeah.
Here we.
What?
Oh, can you imagine Romo? What Romo would do?
Oh, Jim!
Jim, what the hell are they doing, man?
He's there. What's
Gene? Do you know?
Can't catch the ball.
Yeah, Gene doesn't know.
Gene, we're gonna figure this out as we go here, boys.
Looks like
Gene's territory used to ref college basketball as well.
He was great last night.
He reminded the whole world of that. Like, yeah, I understand I'm the greatest NFL ref of all time, but also check the history.
Pretty good on the hardwood too.
Yeah, I started college basketball. That's kind
Why don't they vote on full-time refs? That's what they should be voting on.
Well, because they do all this other bullshit to kind of hi,
Yep.
you know. And I think full-time refs probably going to have to be a business decision as opposed to a competition committee decision. I do wonder
definitely
how that would
an
go
owner's
through.
vote. But how much do you think? Like, and I'm going to ask you this question, knowing the answer. Is this owners like, hey, I voted for your thing last time. You're going to vote for my thing next time, right?
I assume it's politics. There's politics happening in there.
Absurd.
I assume. Now, there's a lot of new owners, too.
True.
By a lot, I mean more so than there had been
Recently,
for like 20 years or
Yeah.
whatever. So they're coming in there trying to make allies as well.
Yep.
Who am I trying to... And that's the one per club meeting.
Right.
That they'll never put a camera in.
Nope.
Closed doors, no phones.
The amount of, oh, is that right? Remember when I remember that. This is stupid. What are we talking about? A hip drop tackle. Well, he just showed the video of what the rule is. Dumb. I'm not voting for it. Well, you know, I lost the guy for blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, they are in there, I bet. Actually, and they all have their own personal agendas, right? Because of the team that they have either right now or they're trying to build, the quarterback that they have. That's why Bill Burr still holds it over Jim Irsay's head about the rules change. Yeah, you change it because Peyton Manning was your quarterback and the way your offense was, you needed people to get off the wide receiver so they couldn't jam because everything was on timing, so you changed the rules. It's like, well, I don't think the Colts are the only team that was constructed that way, but they were certainly the most popular at the time they were constructed that way. It's like these rules and competition committee meetings have such a lingering effect on the game.
Yeah.
Because then there's precedent set for things. It's like, that's why the fair catch on the kickoffs last year when it got forced through.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, wait a minute. We can't just be forcing rules through because then once it's forced through, a couple of years later, remember we did this, not that bad, precedent, we can do this again. It's like there's got to be checks and balances in there.
Well, and that's why NFL is king. Like, the NFL is the only sport where their biggest game happens, and then it's like, hey, by the way, free agency is about to start. Then they have owners' meetings. Littered in there are all these pro days. Like, it is the reason the NFL is so massive because every decision they make is huge. And the owners' meetings obviously is the culmination of every, team's biggest player, their owner. Like, it is such a cool thing that happens for the NFL. But obviously bullshit like this is littered into it.
To Connor's point, they schedule everything. They are to a point now where they schedule everything so perfectly that there's something every single month up through minicamp basically, and then June, end of June, beginning of July is nothing. That is their nothing time, but then we're right back into it, end of July in training camp.
They did not expect this Shohei Ohtani interpreter news.
They're pissed.
They heard the March Madness. March Madness,
They're pissed,
excuse
for
me.
sure. Yeah.
That 5'6" NCAA that came in here earlier, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're the story.
No wonder they're so mad.
Baseball's not the story.
Who cares about this guy?
How do we think that ends, Ty, as a baseball guy?
I don't think anything will happen to Ohtani.
I don't think so either.
No,
I don't think unless there's some big smoking gun
Are
somewhere.
we marks though that we're just like?
I don't think so.
Because you talk to reporters, like we talked to Jet, and he was complimenting Tish and everything like that. And if you hear them talk, it's like we're just telling you what was told to us by people in the know
at the
time. And it's not just the people involved, it's also like feds. Like this is the information we're getting from it. We still have a lot of questions because we're nowhere near done doing it, but they're also nowhere near done with the investigation. So I think they kind of get a little bit upset about all the natural reactions and narratives that get built. Like last night, Shohei.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Shohei lost $4.5 million in bets on baseball.
Yeah.
Is pretty much what the internet took that as immediately, and they're going to let jokes fly. But it does feel as if the reporters are like, that is not the actual, from what we have been told, that is not the actual story. Not baseball, first of all. And from all parties that have talked to us, including feds, it was this particular individual who's the interpreter who was with Shohei. Shohei victim here is what everybody is kind of saying, even the interpreter who said this is me and that he was just covering for a friend. But it is crazy to think that it could change once again on a dime, potentially in the middle of an investigation.
Yeah, I think if you just think about it reasonably, I think baseball more so than any other sport, guys, especially guys like him who will be first ballot Hall of Famers, like they just know because of Pete Rose, like you don't do this, okay? Because you will get caught, and if you do get caught, like Pete Rose has the most hits in the history of baseball, and he's not in the Hall of Fame, and people treat him like he's just some piece of shit because he bet on baseball 50 years ago. Exactly. And he was betting on him to win. He wasn't, throwing games or anything like that. But I think you look at it like that, and also everything we know about Shohei in terms of like all he cares about is baseball. All he wants to do is compete. That's why he went to the Dodgers, because he was kind of just wasting away in Anaheim. And then also on top of it, like, I understand that he has only been living in the U.S. for like 5 years, but you'd think that if he was getting involved in something like this, like someone would stop it before it got to the point where it's like, hey, Shohei, you're one of the most popular people in the world. We can't have you racking up $5 million in gambling debts with this illegal bookmaker in like, guess what? Eventually the Piper is going to have like the Pied Piper is going to show up and people will find out about this. I just have a hard time believing that you would be that short-sighted and just thinking like, oh, no one's ever going to find out.
Yeah, and Shohei Ohtani, from everything we've learned, good dude, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like just...
As far as we know, yeah.
Seems to be awesome.
Like legit only cares about baseball.
And since he's in high school, they know he's going to be a guy.
For sure.
So that would be very out of character from what we know.
Absolutely.
And very dumb.
Yeah.
As a person who has been since high school basically said, this is the next one. So this would be and you got to think about the humans involved whenever you hear things like this so you don't make assumptions. But everything we've been told from the baseball community about Shohei is this would not be a misstep that he would be willing to take.
No.
Now, that being said, this interpreter putting him in this position.
Yeah.
Even more a predator.
Yeah.
Guy he just loved the Portland Timbers.
Yeah.
Was he betting on MLS soccer?
I'm assuming.
I think it was international soccer.
World Cup, I imagine.
$4.5 million? That bookie's like, yes, more bets.
Yeah.
$2 million on Qatar to win the World Cup. Yeah,
yes,
okay.
more bets. All right, we'll be back tomorrow live from Iowa. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Let's enjoy March Madness. Yep.
Nice.
Well done.
Well done.
And normally we go like 3.5 hours or something like that.
Sure.
3 hours.
Yep.
Today, that ain't happening.
No, we got games.
We got games to watch.
We got games.
I mean,
this is what everybody should be doing. There's nothing we could talk about that is anywhere remotely as entertaining as this game right here.
Especially look at the setups. We got the 9.5 point dog Duquesne up 8. Akron's hanging around their 12.5 point dogs. Like we could be in for some madness early today.
Which is what we're here for.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that the arena is still empty with the Michigan State Spartans playing in there. A lot of empty seats, a lot of people dressed like seats. Maybe they're filing in for the next game taking place.
What's the score?
You guys don't care. 60-45 over Mississippi State. 9-seed Michigan State, who was a 1.5 point favorite, although they were a 9-seed, is up over Mississippi State. Foxy, you guys don't care about this team? You don't care about the first round?
Pat, this is all people from Michigan State care about. This is the time of year
I'm seeing
everyone
empty
gets
seats.
juiced up. We go on a run. Especially this team was ranked 4th in the preseason. They were supposed to be really good. Had a terrible season, but that's when Tom Izzo comes in, and that's when they go on a run.
January, February, Izzo sells no tickets. That's what seemingly is happening right now.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fascinating. No one's there.
If the people have filed in, I assume it's for the next game.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, if they would have done the right thing and put the West Virginia Mountaineers in, or the Indiana State Sycamores in.
Sure.
Iowa Hawkeyes.
Fairfield.
Michigan State played Indiana State.
Does the
it was a
team
close game, but Michigan State won.
Does the team that comes in last in the Big 12 normally get in?
Who came in last?
West Virginia, I think.
West Virginia came in last in the Big 12.
Oh, that's why they fired their coach.
It's a tough year. It's a tough year on the hard
They
part.
came in fucking last. No way. No
We
way.
didn't come in last.
No way. They came in last.
Let me look.
Oh, this'll make my day.
Maybe it
4-14 in conference, 9-23 overall.
West Virginia?
Bring
We
back
last?
Huggy.
Yeah.
Huggy's been sober for 300 days. I want him back at West Virginia now.
That was the internet report, but somebody did some math, and allegedly he got a DUI 277 days ago.
Yeah. So now I guess that came out about 3. He might be like 280 days sober right now.
Okay.
Which we're proud of him. He looks very thin, too. There's a couple things he did back-to-back that just, like, you're going to be tough to remain a D1 college basketball coach.
For sure.
I gotta stop doing radio.
Yeah, in this world that we're in right now. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but that certainly knocked down a house of cards, seemingly, there at West Virginia. Last place in Big 12?
I thought you guys got the guy when you signed when you had the interim guy. You're like, well, this is the guy. We found the guy.
We had no hope. I mean, Bob Huggins was there looking over his shoulder.
Tossing beer cans onto the court.
No, he's sober.
Sober. Good Lord.
That was a wild little turn of events here on the internet. Because obviously Bob Huggins has done a lot of incredible things for the state of West Virginia, raising a lot of money. He's a West Virginia guy.
Great coach.
Good coach of Cincinnati, good coach of West Virginia. Obviously gone to the Elite Eight. I don't know if he's made the Final Four, maybe.
I think he did with Cincinnati. I think they went to a national championship.
Anyways, good basketball coach.
Yeah.
Always
Great
has time for local media.
Well, so then he does the local media hit, says something like, yep, can't say that.
Sure.
And then a week later, gets a wild DUI for allegedly being drunk while driving in downtown Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Prove it.
Something like that. So back-to-back things happen very close, and both things you're not individually, both of them would get you fired from any D1 job in 2024 in sports like that. But then for them both to come in the same month, I don't remember. Was it the same week?
Same week.
It might have been.
It might have been. In my head, looking back,
It might have been like a Wednesday, Saturday.
Yeah, no chance.
No.
In the current climate that we're in. But I did not sign a resignation. And then that's how the season started.
Yeah.
It's like, how are they going to win any game? Well, they didn't.
Yep.
That's what happens there.
But didn't they get some huge recruit, too? Didn't they get
Some guy from Syracuse, yeah.
Oh, and then he left.
I don't know, dude. Okay, he might have Caden proctored. We fucking didn't win any games.
No, 9-23.
I'm not. If you get us in the tournament, though, we dance.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, hey, also, speaking of West Virginia,
Good
has
tournament team.
Kirk Herbstreit, kind of bowed up at what he owes you, since he owes you anything for what the football team did?
Yeah, so there's a lot of logistics behind that one there, bub.
What are we talking?
When we're going to do the show, how we're going to do the show.
Okay.
What facility you're doing it from?
I mean, there's a lot of things.
Game day is going to be in Morgantown this year with Garrett Greenbrother running wild quite a few times.
I like the way you just slipped in Garrett Green, brother.
You guys got to line up some guests, too, make sure everyone's dialed in.
Don't ask wherever we go.
Bob Huggins might be a guest.
Yeah.
Let him get it out that he wasn't.
Let him tell his side.
Yeah.
He has a couple times.
He has.
Yeah.
Provide a couple cold beers for him.
Ren Baker, brand new AD.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what this guy's got to deal with. Bob Huggins went to school at West Virginia, beloved in West Virginia.
God, he is a god in West Virginia.
Maybe he's Duke the New.
Ren Baker's like, come on, man. What are we?
Well, you've talked about it. Like when they win big things, they don't have a pep rally. They go around the entire state, don't they?
Yes.
Actually.
Took a tour, took a bus, went to a couple mines,
Yeah,
a couple.
bingo.
Did the
that's
whole
so
thing.
cool.
Yeah, Bob Huggins is a big he is
Loves the state.
Proud.
He is one of the faces of West Virginia.
Yes.
So then for the things to happen that have to, you can't. We can't. You can't. But now he's wanting to get back in the race. We don't have a coach, and we don't have any wins.
They might rehire him.
That's
They should. They should.
We shall see. In West Virginia, if they get in, they're dancing.
They can dance. They can
Because
dance.
what do?
Huh? Tap shoes, baby.
Fucking.
They don't always get invited, but when they get invited and they go to that dance, boy, oh boy, are their feet everywhere.
Yeah.
Hire Pittsnogle.
Higher pitch.
Kevin Pittsnogle didn't get mentioned one time when people were talking about all the electric college basketball figures over the years.
It's not right.
You're telling me 6'11" Kevin Pittsnogle, who's a Club Z on Thursday, and then Friday night he's hucking up 53s and draining 30 of them?
Yeah.
That guy's not electrifying? I think he is.
And I believe he is an assistant principal at a grade school in West Virginia
I saw
right now.
that.
So
Yeah.
let's,
I saw that in the thread.
Well, they drafted to send him to Europe. So they drafted him. You're going to go play in Europe. And he was like,
fuck that.
no, I'm not.
I'm playing in West Virginia.
No, I am not.
Yeah, I retire.
I'm right here. I'm in America.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want me to play basketball in America, cool. If not, I'm not doing it. Went back and was a gym teacher in West Virginia.
Legend.
Just the greatest shooting gym teacher in the history of the state and probably the country.
Ever. I think that's easy.
Some of these gym teachers, though, can light it up.
Oh, yeah. Free throws, especially.
Gym teachers really good when they don't have to move their feet.
Yes, exactly.
So all the things that don't require athleticism.
Badminton.
Hand-eye coordination normally pretty flawless at a gym teacher. We were just at Mr. Nollenberg's basement drinking all of his booze.
Oh, yeah.
Some people puked the booze back all over the basement.
Who?
Carpets and couches.
Ruined it, right? Ruined
Bars,
Yeah,
toilets,
fish tank, I think.
things like that. Red wine, actually.
Oh, no. So it's destroyed.
It was bloody.
Allegedly, what we heard was there was some damage done the next morning. But plane gets laid, that's what happened. Plane gets laid 5 times.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
That's going to happen. Tornadoes coming through, can't fly. Need another 30 minutes. We'll check the Doppler. Well, it's funny because the Doppler was created in the city that we're in right now, so that's kind of a nice little tie together for Donardo.
Love you, Joe.
And then just one thing after another, you're there for another 4 hours, and everybody is pretty intoxicated in Mr. Nonnenberg's basement.
Yeah.
Mr. Nonnenberg, gym teacher, he is the perfect depiction of human who, great jumper. Beat you in horse probably.
Oh, yeah.
Silky.
Beat you in horse probably. Has some absurd shot. He'll be able to bank it.
For sure.
You know, even like badminton.
Yeah.
Ping pong.
Yep.
Tennis, he can make you run a little bit. But once it starts getting into the
moving.
he's got kids that are in college now and graduated college, so he's not going to be able to get. But those gym teachers are so sneaky talented.
Oh, yeah.
We need to have respect for them. Especially those kids in West Virginia that walk into Pittsnogle.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Are they just running a highlight of him whenever they walk in so they understand what this
He's
is?
probably a better shooter now than he was when he was in college.
Oh, he's always been doing his working.
Yeah.
He's been in the gym.
Literally.
Making the next Pittsnogle.
I hope.
Might be having one
There
come
will
out
never
soon.
be another Pitts.
Mike Gansey, Pat Beeline, Kevin Pittsnogle,
They can light it up.
Alex Missoula, Joe Missoula, Alex. Oh, I'm sorry, Alex. Oh, you're a
Got
good
half.
dude, too. Good dude. Great dude. Handsome. Handsome guy.
You got half of it. And
Joe
you mentioned
Alexander.
he's handsome.
They were good. That was a good team to watch.
Great.
Then Pat Beeline leaves, goes to West Virginia. Who's next?
Was it
Huggy Bear.
Bob Huggins.
That's right.
was it Alex Ruoff?
There it is. Alex Ruoff. Good dude. Great dude.
Great shorts back then. Need to bring those back.
What, the West Virginia shorts?
Just the shorts in that era of
The
college
long ones?
basketball. The ones that are touching the socks. Yeah.
Now are they too short, you're saying? Or I think
I'm
now it's like
also-
they're just right.
I'm also
I
a
agree
fan
with you.
of the short shorts. I just think the long shorts look awesome.
Mississippi State has short sleeve tights under their jerseys.
Interesting.
Not everybody. Not everybody. Only a few of the guys who were on the camera at the time. All right, let's get out of here and watch these games.
Duquesne up 10.
Michigan State up 16.
Come on.
Good start for the boys.
Let's go.
Akron. I mean, that's tied.
31-31. Akron, Creighton taking place. Creighton was favored by 12.5.
I hope this start for the SEC is not an indication of what's coming along the line, because that would be bad for our bracket.
Yeah, it would be bad for our bracket. But
I don't like the hour thing. There was only a couple people really voting.
Well, no. We got input from everybody.
It was representing the show, but there was only a few people.
We got input from everybody.
Kind of.
Asked every single person for a different pick. Bill made a pick.
That's what we're saying.
What did he pick?
He took
picked
Kentucky over
Kentucky.
Tennessee.
Hey, Bill's hot right now.
He is.
He
hot
is.
right now.
Bill's swinging a hot bat right now.
He is.
Your bracket has Michigan State, so yours it will be 1-0.
Good pick.
Go green, Foxy.
Go white.
Well,
Did ours have
With a bunch of
Michigan
ex-Colts
State?
players.
Okay.
I got texted the bracket. I don't know if it was last night or this morning. Whoever it was, real go-getter. I got that thing early. And
real go-getter.
real go. I don't know who it is. It might be Austin Coley. Austin Coley now is in the money world. This guy, suited.
Probably never sleeps.
He looks so handsome the other night.
He's still properly
jocked.
Hey, just wondering if you had any future plans with your financial investments.
Oh, nice. Always working.
Yep.
He said he was going to put a presentation together in the middle of this children's hospital fundraiser the other day.
Did he?
A lot of high wealth individuals in here. I'm thinking maybe I get a chance 5-10 minutes.
That'd have been awesome.
He's awesome. I would, if I was in that game of like, yeah, I want to.
Diversify your portfolio.
I'll go with Austin Coley. Until he lost me something. I go, you Mormons don't know anything.
Give it back. Give it back now.
Get me out of here. Yeah. All right, if this ball goes in, Michigan State is going to win the Natty.
Love it.
Wow. Oh, shit.
Enjoy the hell out of March Madness. Sounds like it's going to be great for Sparty. Big shout out to Robbie Avila, Rob Wave, for stopping by, beating down the NCAA, making the NCAA look like an unathletic little baby back bitch.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well,
I'm just reading what people are saying.
yeah, that's the word on X.
Yeah, I'm just reading what people are saying. Big shout out to Jet Passing coming in and breaking down what's going on with Ohtani and his interpreter and $4.5 million to an illegal bookie. Big shout out to Jameis Winston for doing stuff in football again.
Love you, Jameis.
We need him to continue to be around the Cleveland Browns building so we can continue to get videos out of him. Big shout out to college basketball for doing its thing. March Madness for the men have already begun. We'll be in Iowa tomorrow to celebrate the women's March Madness taking place. And Coach
Lisa Bluter
will be joining us. We can't wait for that, to chit-chat with her. Other surprises coming through. And Roman Reigns, Tribal Chief, will be there live at the Field House in Iowa. 2,500 person max occupancy. We're hoping for 10.
Yep.
We like to fill that place up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Iowa band is going to be there. We did reach out and chat with them.
Correct.
Tomorrow should be a pretty good little shit show.
Punk.
Tomorrow should be a good time.
Yes.
Just got pictures of the setup.
Look good.
Let's go.
Looks awesome.
Now we're talking.
Had some requests declined,
Yeah.
which is going to happen.
Sure. Yeah. Not ideal, but,
Brian Ferentz said he wasn't coming on.
onward and upward.
He got fired. Well, let go, sorry. Not renewed.
Correct. But you could say it. You got your kid.
By who?
The university.
Should have been his pop.
Well, his dad said, don't let me do this. You guys need to fire my kid or we get Christmas.
Son, it's either me or you.
I got to see.
Someone's got to be in this plane.
Somebody needs to the wreck.
Go
They
down.
expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Son.
And he said, father.
Okay.
All right. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change your life, especially today. Let's win all our bets.
Hell yeah.
Let's not get into a $4.5 million crippling gambling.
That's a good idea.
It's bad news.
That bookie just being like, I got a whale.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks that the first time I get a whale, I'm under FBI investigation. This would have been great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had to take a bet from 5,000 people if I just had this particular gambler. And the FBI's like, is this what it's normally like? No, it's not. Jesus. How much you want to bet? 250?
Okay.
Sure. I would have loved this 5 years ago. The illegal bookie just thinking, oh, got a call. Probably just money in the phone. Hey, can I take? Absolutely. Hey, whatever you need, buddy.
Writing it down.
I want to take Qatar over Argentina.
Sure.
Yeah, you got it. That's a good bet. That's a good bet. You know what? I'll give you a BOGO bet here. I'll give you double the odds. We'll do an odds boost. We'll do that for you. You got it. Text it back. $300,000 the next day. This is easy. The FBI got to be like, damn, I know why you guys do this.
Yeah. Good for you.
150 grand. How much did we get from this? $4.5 million. Yeah, just one bank account.
Yeah. This guy's a moron. He sucks at gambling.
Imagine every time that interpreter went to pay the bookie, or they came and had somebody do it. This bookie, hey, how come the bookie lives in such a shitty house? I've given this guy millions of dollars. Couldn't take any of it. The feds are taking all.
Oh yeah.
Feds are monitoring all of it.
Hopefully he was in.
That's kind of the lost part of this entire story. Is that scumbag illegal bookie guy?
Yeah.
Found his whale.
Oh yeah.
He did.
And it was while the feds were watching.
It's a sad story.
The feds, he had his
dream.
mom. He's a rat, Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Which is how it'll go down.
Yeah.
But in his business, he didn't even know what was possible.
No.
Until Ipe Watsuhara
Yep.
came through with lock after lock after lock for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now they're all going to jail, potentially.
Yep.
Let's get out of here. We're not going to jail.
No
way.
Not.
Be a friend, tell a friend. We're going to Iowa.
Yes,
We are.
Going to Orlando on Tuesday.
Yep.
Wide.
We're going to be in a conference room, I think, in Orlando.
No big deal. 4 seasons.
We had some declined requests down there, too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Seems to be.
Well, what'd you guys say?
No.
What'd you say yesterday?
What about Snaggletooth?
We didn't send a request there.
Oh,
Maybe we should.
I don't think so.
It might be. I was thinking about it when it was mentioned earlier. Like this would be a perfect time for one of them to come out and
Good baby face time for them to come on and us go.
Clear
Well,
the
what
air.
was the idea?
It would be a great time for them to set the record straight.
Yeah, maybe Rob Kraft comes on. I doubt it, but maybe. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. Don't ever forget it. All right? Team on me, team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Team.
Goodbye!